sportos, motorheads, geeks, sluts, bloods, wastoids, dweebies, dickheads. They all adore him. They think he's a righteous dude.
A chat with you and somehow death loses its sting.
Just the facts, ma'am.
I'm telling you straight. It's my way or the highway. So anybody wants to walk, do it now.
There it goes. Mike is on. I had a double audio feed, sorry, going back through because we're on Instagram and I have to use an entirely different computer to route that. And the goal is to be able to have access to all the best words.
I know words. I have the best words.
And by the way, does that sound? I can't, for whatever reason, I can't hear the feedback of that computer at a normal level, so it seems super goddamn quiet to me. But my meter tells me it's loud, like reasonably. Does it sound okay? Can you hear this ridiculousness?
Anonymous, really anonymous.
Okay.
I'm gonna go, look, wait.
Okay, is that solid? Is that okay? Excellent. Okay, because I always worry about it, but I'm like, it should have impact, but it was a little like, and yeah. So, thank you guys so much. I appreciate the tech support that you guys give me, as well as the emotional, and intellectual and psychosexual support. Lots to cover today. Oh boy. I guess I don't want to bury the lead. I mean, gosh, I don't even know how to say it. I think we all know by now. We'd have to know by now that it's over. It's over. The whole thing is over. It's over. There's nothing we can do about it. It's over. It's over. There's no getting any. It's not gonna get any better. It's not gonna. It's over. It's over. It's finally, after all this, it's over. Okay, stop it. Stop it. It's over. There's nothing you can do. It's over. What's over? You might ask. Fuck if I know. Just Mike Pillow. It's over. Mike Lindo hedges on Supreme Court evidence. So apparently, whatever it is indeed over. It's over. It's over. All that is over. There is no. Calm down. But it's over. And I know what to do. Leave Mike Pillow alone. So it's over. But before we get to the end, I want to at least say hello and goodbye and good morning, good afternoon, good day, and good evening to our lovely chat and our new members. People have been handing out memberships, and I love you for that. Thank you so much. And I appreciate you guys so much for doing that. It's great. We are genuinely building something. And on top of that, while I'm building this race car as it heads down the track, and have been for the last couple of years, I would like to thank you guys for the treatment that the True Blue Politics gals got this morning. Gals, her brain got this morning because I think we kicked it was 3 times 30 times X of subscribers. So thank you guys so much for jumping in there. They're at True Blue Politics, no E's in those, TRUBLU Politics on YouTube. Started their thing in November. They were an offshoot of just people who were calling in. 2 ladies who called in to Steph regularly started their own thing. It was great. They were our guests this morning on the morning show. It was lovely to have them on, and it's nice, along with Boston Brian and Texas Paul and all our beloveds around, and Philip Ettner, that we can help to, boost voices. It's nice that I'm building a scaffolding with this show, as well as a cool group, and the Sparklers are indeed, and I have to say, I feel, you guys can call yourself Sparklers. I feel a little weird saying it. It's very strange. It's it seems to me in the same zone if I speak it out loud, like saying my name over and over again, like Trump does with the Trumpness, saying, that I want to thank House Bucks for doing such a House Bucksy show. And I, as House Bucks, remind you to subscribe and to House Sparks Mega Worldwide. It should be Mega Worldwide actually. Sparks, loves that he's sparksing while we're talking about it. We're the Twatlers. That's the new name. Okay. Don't make this motherfucker ask you to subscribe again. Why you gotta make it? Why you gotta be like that? Why you have to do it like that every fucking time? Why does he have to keep? Yeah, make him say like and subscribe again, motherfucker. Make him say that again, huh? All right, we'll get to this stuff before we get to the end. I mean, we gotta pack the show full of stuff because we got to go out with a bang or a whimper or both. I don't know what the fuck this is. So anyways, welcome. Hit that like early. Let people know we're here. That's what boosts it up. Right now we are competing on Fridays. We always compete with our friends over at the China Show. They're great. And of course, people like Destiny and other people who eat up a lot of the live bandwidth. So to get us even up into that where people are like, oh shit, we want to be in the oh shit line on there. So please hit that. That'd be cool. All right. Now, okay. Before I start this first clip, okay, two things. One, I know. Two, we're not going to do the whole thing because there's no fucking way it's worth it or the time is valuable. But I just find this like so on the nose with what we were talking about second hour today with the ladies of True Blue Politics. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Jimmy serial killer drift eye door. Is it just me or is that I mean I'm not off, right? He didn't do that to himself. That's not Photoshop, is it? Anyways, apparently he is spurging truth at a general, and this is the thing. Jimmy tells American general the U.S. is the world's biggest terrorist while living in a multi-million-dollar home in the Hollywood Hills in America. Again, it is one thing to say America, love it or leave it, not allow any criticism whatsoever, and be a dick about it. It is another thing entirely to yourself believe that you live and your taxes support, and ever-increasing taxes, I might add, support the government that he says is the world's biggest terrorist. It would be one thing if it was on the list or it did wrong or it did other stuff and we got to vote and fight back against it. That's not what this is about. There is no salvaging the U.S. according to Jimmy Dore, but he is very happy to nestle his sad little winky in between the butt cheeks of Uncle Sam now and forever, or actually have it the other way around. It's probably close to the other way around. He is very happy to use his withered butt cheeks as a hot dog bun for the great American missile. So, spitting truth. I actually believe. Yeah, I don't even want to. The chat room went further than I did. Okay, so this is his. I guess he's interviewing this guy and then whatever.
So I wanted to show you this. So I like to show this on my show. These are all the U.S. military bases around the...
Right. Where we, and specifically a good portion of them, our Navy protects the waterways so ships get where they're supposed to be going. This is a lot of the stuff around the edges, that's anti-piracy. By the way, I want to point out the fact that these little bases up here are UN bases and places where we have peacekeeping forces mixed in with groups that when we leave, horrible shit happens. I have not. I don't think anybody has. Sorry about the volume. Has anybody that watches this dickhead ever seen him give a rat fuck about Sudan, for example? Of course not. Don't be silly.
The world.
It's
so
not a sex offender registry. If
this
that's
is
what you
not a
thought.
sex offender registry. This is...
Well, of course not, or Kurt would be on it, right? And that, I mean, he would know.
Look at Africa. Look at the Middle East. Look at Asia, look at Europe. Look at this. It's amazing. And so we've had this.
Also, I mean, just look at that alone. Like, this is where either troops are stationed or have done stations or are doing exercises or any myriad of things. And if we're there for 10 minutes, this fucking pin stays on forever. Get the fuck out of here.
Is real. And not only there,
real dumb,
but it's also in South America. Look at Central America. That is so.
And we still couldn't beat China or Russia in a war currently.
And we
with
still
all that shit. How is that possible?
How is that? But so
it isn't.
Do you think it's time for us to pull back on the American empire? Do you think the United States?
That's not empire. As a matter of fact, a lot of those countries, when we pull back, their stability comes into question, and then they end up being taken over by awfuls.
States needs 1,000 military bases spread across the world like this.
I thought this was a map of all your Airbnbs that you have, Jimmy.
Oh, you got it. He's pointing out that Jimmy is a Marxist millionaire. That's a little jab. There you go.
So all of these bases, all the blue dots there, should probably be cut by 2/3. And when I was the Undersecretary for Policy performing those duties, we were taking a hard look at the draw. We drew down out of Somalia, for example. We moved, and we did it in the.
Yeah, we drew down out of Somalia. Who the fuck needs to be in Somalia? It's not like, oh wait, slavery came back to Somalia. There's slavery in Somalia now. I'm so glad we drew back.
Dark at night over a week, and we didn't talk about it. But those 2,000 troops ish.
Oh, but the pin's still there.
We're gone. And we recommended to President Trump to go down around 2,500 in Afghanistan and take a look at it, see what it looked like.
Take a look at it, see what it looked like with us just holding the place for 2,500 soldiers and and the rest are all contractors. You think he's going to make that distinction? No.
Sure, NATO was working with us. Biden fundamentally broke NATO when he just kind of left all of that. He left 29 other nations with no way out. They had to figure it out. And that
out of Afghanistan, he broke NATO by getting us out of Afghanistan. Says the author of the Phalanx Code and Total Empire and something Tata.
That's part of why
as a pro-Trump general, I don't like Biden.
There was no diplomacy in the lead up to Putin moving to the border. He saw how incompetent Blinken and Biden and all of them were and just started rolling to the border and said, yeah, if I'm going to go, I might as well go now.
Yeah, because what better time could there be? I'll be able to take this place in 6 days. And boy, was he fucking wrong. Never mind the gibberish aspect of this. But how did that work out for him? Huh? How did that work out for Putin?
But because Biden had so fundamentally broken NATO.
Fundamentally broken NATO. Now, those three words in that order is ridiculous. That's Trump's dream. But NATO, you could even if NATO was on the back foot from Trump, it was not in danger of being fundamentally broken. If anything, like what's this asshole's argument? That Putin was worried that NATO wouldn't continue to grow, so he swooped in and attacked Ukraine to remind everybody why it existed? What the fuck?
They just kind of let Russia come because what unifies something better than anything is a common threat, right? So that Russian threat came there. Nobody talked about how Biden broke NATO.
Right, because he didn't
anymore. And I know because I have a lot of friends in these countries at very senior levels, and they were.
Oh yeah? You have a lot of friends in these countries in very senior levels? Let me guess. They're all friends of Marie Le Pen and Zlochevsky.
They were very, very, very upset.
Yeah, Paul Manafort.
Right now, the progressive agenda has so demoralized the military and this weak leadership that we have.
Oh, this is the whole like woke military bullshit that this guy's worried about, because if you're able to, and if the American military has people in it that learn to serve alongside like people of a different race and religion and transgender people or whatever, what kind of image are we presenting to the world? We have to have white Christian soldiers ready to wipe out whoever. I'd like, this is garbage.
That we can't make recruiting goals by about 25%.
That's constant. And by the way, one of the other reasons that nobody talks about why we're not meeting recruiting goals is because there's a living wage out there to be had, and there are educational paths that weren't there before. It used to be, what the fuck choice do you have? You're a particular economic rung. You got no chance to climb out of it. The military is your one way out. Now you got 5 ways out, and 4 of them don't necessarily involve you getting shot at. So a bunch of people, you'd be surprised, will jump right in there. Also, post 9/11, there was this big jack up in people getting in there, right? Everybody wanted to join for a while, and statistically, that went down from the spike caused by 9/11. And again, this is another situation where somebody doesn't want to solve for X in the equation.
And so instead of making sure that
they know people don't have to share next to,
we can meet those goals by changing something.
Yeah, change something, which is what? Not accepting people that would irk the normals who usually join the military. Is the idea that the new wave of Hispanic people who are joining, for example, over the last couple decades have really been the largest extra group, whites being the largest, but Hispanics being the second largest now, overtaking black people in general, that those people are basically have a Catholic background, don't like gay people and abortion. So by allowing for those things, you're going to scare off the Hispanics. Is that the argument?
They just lower the goal, right? So they're doing an election year. And when you announce recruiting hits or misses is around October, right? Because, it's the fiscal.
Yeah, that's how everybody votes. All right. I know this guy's in line with my personal policies, and the other guy wants to eliminate a woman's right to choose and carpet bomb a bunch of fucking places, and believes that, a Muslim ban is a solution for something, and that viruses go away in the spring. I know those guys, but is the military meeting its recruitment goals?
Fiscal year, so it ends September.
By the way, if that was your measure, no one has gotten, I guess, reelected by that, except maybe it's George Bush second run, and then we have to go all the way back to the fucking 50s, I guess, like World War II, early, like the end of World War II, and maybe the numbers afterwards before that started to fade.
30th, and so
or the draft. What do you think? You think they that Vietnam was like they made a draft just to boost their re-election chances?
Magically, in October, I'll bet you a beer that Biden's going to say, and for the first time in 4 years, we've hit our recruiting goals. And all they will have done is lower the number of people that they're trying to recruit. And
all generally gibberish. Also, you'll notice Kurt and Jimmy are completely silent because they don't give a fuck at all about any of this.
And, our Constitution says raise an army, but maintain a navy. And so it's getting to your point here, this army that we are supposed to scale up or down based.
Okay, it seems like his problem is we spend too much time using our navy policing the waterways to make sure that pirates don't take over ships and food and products get where they're going, because our economic stability is more important than letting that shit slide. And so he's like, fuck these places. I don't care. Why are we policing these waterways? Because we're 80% of the fucking trade in the world for them. Maybe not even. We're probably less than 50 now that I think of it. But we benefit from 80% of it. Let's just say it that way.
Based upon threat was intentional from the framers of the Constitution because they saw the land wars going on in Europe, and they didn't want that. They feared a big federal government, and that's also part of the well-regulated militias, and that became the National Guard. And so you have that tension between states and the federal, the big government. And
yeah, the big government. So you're just saying we can't have a federal government that is. So small government conservatives are really just there to destroy the federal government. Cool.
And now coupled with big tech, that can really, really do some damage. And so but the Navy is about power projection, is about protecting commerce first and foremost back then when this was written. And so
still is.
So maintain a Navy. The words mean things, particularly to the framers. And so the Army, if we couldn't fight right now one regional war, much less two with China and Russia, and our national defense strategy lists.
Yeah, we could, because we're not going to use ground troops in doing meat waves like Russia and China plan on doing. Are you out of your fucking mind?
China, Russia, Iran, North Korea is our four main adversaries. And right now we are not.
We're not. Currently, your concern is we're not prepared to fight all four of those people at once because we don't have the population to fight a country. Two countries that equal our population and then one that allegedly has 1.2 billion people.
Scaling our force
in what, fist fights?
To the vital interests of the nation, which is the formula you're supposed to follow. What are our vital interests? How do we defend those or protect those or ensure those? And then how big a military do we need to do that? And that's right before I left.
Yeah. Apparently, according to this asshole, it's everybody. That's right. It's forced conscription time from birth. We got to take on the military, like the Israeli military model. Everybody at 15 years old, you got to enter the military and prepare to fight because of the potential threat of open like meat wars between China, Iran, North Korea, Russia, and us. All at once.
Submitted a defense planning budget and defense planning guidance that matched the budget with the president's vision for DoD. And it's very important that all that hard work happens. And right now we're so busy infusing ideological garbage and with DEI and this anti whatever and BL.
This anti whatever. You mean you're the anti woke person? What you mean is this woke shit? You're trying to avoid saying woke.
Stuff. I mean, for God's sake, West Point is changing its mission statement. It looks like I just saw some stuff going. They're removing duty, honor, country from the mission statement. I mean that the fundamental change going on in our.
Well, tell me when they do it, and then I'll give a fuck.
Bedrock institutions right now that helped make this country so great is really alarming to see some of these things happening. And
okay, all I can gather from this asshole is that he thinks, and I don't know if Kurt and Jimmy have just gone to take a fucking nap, but all I can get from this asshole is he thinks we shouldn't have as big a Navy. And we shouldn't have all these seamen and airmen out on the boats. I notice how fast I said seamen, so you guys couldn't. I know you. And that we should be building the Army instead of the Air Force and the Navy, even though that's the majority of how shit is going to be fought. And quite frankly, our drone forces are going to be the primary on so many things, and then everybody else is going to be special forces. Like the idea of a regular army is just is so fucking last century, it's weird that you even would clamor for it.
And it's with the invasion across the border, with the
Well, clearly we don't have enough troops for all these women and kids.
with the media and lockstep with the regime. Instead of holding a microphone up to the media, to the administration, and asking questions, they've got a megaphone and they're parroting the administration message.
Jesus Christ, dude. And you know what? I used to think Mike Flynn was a special kind of stupid, but apparently, was this guy one of those people where the CIA or the DOD were like testing chemicals to see if they put this in your drink, they could torture you all you want and you won't give away secrets and you won't break. But effectively, it was like it created brain lock in some of these motherfuckers, right? Sorry, what? Here we go. Doc in Paradise, Zimmer.
A narrative to the American people. That's fundamentally not the Fourth Estate's job. And so this collusion between the media, the administration, and big tech is really
big tech. Shut the fuck up.
Really damaging not only the fabric of our country, but in particular what used to be one of the most trusted institutions in the world, which is the American military. And right now, I would say that's not the case.
Again, the only people that I know of that say that kind of shit about the American military in that regard, because we have a civilian-run military. So the decisions, good or bad, are made by the people in charge of it. So in many ways, even, in the few cases I would say, like in Afghanistan and Iraq, where the generals were arguing against, argue with the president, we just need to stay in a little bit longer, we'll work this out. Vietnam, same exact situation. It's up to the president to make the decision. It isn't even, those guys arguing their point is what they're fucking there for. And even they can't be faulted for being a hammer in a world of nails, because that's what they're raised to do. That's why we have civilian control over the military. That's why the president makes the decision. It's why a civilian makes the decision about where this goes, why it's the commander-in-chief. And what this guy's basically saying is that trust in the military is lost because we're trying to add diversity to shit, and that's what makes him not trusted anymore, because he used to be in it and he doesn't want to see that shit, and he thinks diverse is weakness. That's what he thinks. It's just odd.
Many polls say that's not the case, and so these dots on your
many polls don't say that's the case. There are not a lot of polls where the American military. Do you trust the military? Did you not trust the military? Like, get the. What's it gone down from? Vietnam or Iran-Contra? Is it down because we're out of Afghanistan? Maybe, what do you think, we should have stayed? Which is actually what he's arguing for.
We can't.
What the fuck is Jimmy nodding about? He didn't care about any of this shit.
Man, most of those places. We can't effectively do the job that those places were there for, and even if it's a supply depot. So
right, that's what most of them are.
We're in real trouble.
So, it's been the position of this show that America, not Al Qaeda or ISIS or Iran, is the world's terrorists, and we have been not only.
It's the position of this show. No, it's a hack bumper sticker phrase that Jimmy keeps blathering. And again, every time he says it, I want people to remember that he's never going to leave. They're not a problem. They're not, when someone like Trump takes over the military and decides to do something with it, or pulls us out of places where we're doing peacekeeping and a civil war breaks out and there's a genocide because of it. That's not the problem. The problem is we're the worst. We're the terrorists of the world. And therefore, because we're the terrorists of the world, if I genuinely believe that about America, I'd be gone. But apparently, I want you to remind you, every time he says that, what he's actually saying is all of his outrage and morals are for show.
With Iraq, prove that. But what we did to Libya, what we did in Syria, Yemen, we helped commit a genocide.
Also in Syria, what we did in Syria, leaving was the problem in Syria. The Kurds that got wiped out is because we weren't there to protect them.
Genocide there. We're helping commit a genocide right now in Gaza.
No, we're not. If we were, I got news for you, asshole. If we were the world's terrorists and we really did all the shit he's talking about and we wanted to help Israel commit a genocide in Gaza, I guarantee that 44,000 bombs dropped would not result in 30,000 deaths. Seriously. Explain that to me. Explain how we're the world's biggest terrorists. Israel is conducting a genocide. We're helping them do it. And apparently, you'd think with what Jimmy's saying, we'd have a lot of practice at this. But apparently we suck.
This war in Ukraine
at genocide
was provoked by the United States. And
look, Putin's not even saying that bullshit anymore. Like, drop it as a talking point. It was a lie in the beginning and everybody knew it. But this dickhead is still selling it even though Putin tapped out on. Putin's arguing that this is about fucking shit that happened in the 1800s.
You know, the 2014 Maidan coup. That's the problem, is that
the 2014 Maidan coup, you mean the one where they were under the control of Russia and Paul Manafort was working with Yanukovych and controlling the country on behalf of Russia, and everybody who was in that cabinet has fled, including Yanukovych, and is living under the protection of Putin because they were sock puppets for the Russian government trying to undermine Ukraine at every turn so they couldn't join Europe. But since then, they've had multiple elections, and they've all been fair. They have a functioning democracy. They were a free people who were attacked.
You just outlined the problem of the news media is not an attack dog or a watchdog of the foreign policy or the government. They're just there as a lapdog. And so when they talked about the Ukraine war, they start the story in the third act. And
yeah, they start the story where the actual attack happened. But that's like Jimmy is the guy who would defend Hamas and Russia with the idea of like, yeah, sure, this guy raped this person, but let's go back to 8th grade when he was denied pussy by somebody in his class, and he carried that around with him all the time. And so rightfully everybody deserves, there should be somebody in the world for everybody. And so of course he eventually had to get there. So it's really it's her fault for walking by wearing the perfume of the girl that turned him down, 15 years ago.
The third act is when Putin invaded Ukraine. They don't tell you that the CIA got in bed with right-wing Nazis to overthrow their democratically elected government in Ukraine.
Yeah, and with the CIA apparently's deep plan to work with right-wing Nazis to elect a Jew like, dude. If that's actually how it went down, it wasn't. But if that's actually how it went down, kudos to the CIA for fucking the Nazis that were there into thinking that they were gonna like, oh, this is gonna be so good. We got the CIA backing us. Hey, who's that guy? Oh, he's the guy we're gonna force to be the president. Oh, really? Right now? No. Oh, thank God. Because he's a Jew and we hate that and stuff. No, he's going to be democratically elected by the populace in a couple of years. He's fucking what?
They don't tell you that the Ukraine government started shelling all the Russian speakers in the eastern part of
that. Okay, first of all, the technology involved in that is amazing. I think probably our military must be sucking up to Ukraine like, hey, thanks. Since our CIA was nice to partner with right-wing Nazis and I give you a Jewish president, how about you give us some of that technology that can tell if somebody's a native-born Russian speaker or if they learned from a book? How'd they miss the people who speak Russian as a second language? How did that
Ukraine
work?
Who didn't want to go along with that coup government, and that they had two peace
the people that Russia had been moving into that area
accords called the Minsk Accords, and
the Minsk. Yes, they were minty, fresh. They were the Peppermints Accords and the Peppermints Patty Accord. Minsk. This is the K and the.
And that who broke those? Not the people of the Donbass and not Russia, but the government of Ukraine did that while they continued to shell. And now we.
No, because in the Minsk Accords, they had to start moving out their military that the Russians had brought in. And their answer was no. And plus, we didn't bring anybody. Plus, no. They didn't live up to it. It's nonsense. Like, this is just fucking blather.
Have the former leader of Germany, Merkel, admitted that the only reason they did those Minsk Accords in the first place was to buy time so they could build up the Ukraine military so they could get ready for this war with Russia, which is a...
Get ready for this war with Russia, which they provoked by doing nothing. They provoked them very, very secretly by 8 years earlier, someone at a meeting suggested eventually Ukraine might be part of NATO. Never mind the 1997 NATO-Russia founding agreement that says that Ukraine and all the other countries that were former satellite states of the Soviet Union could decide on how they want to do their own security. Right? They could be in NATO or not. Good Lord.
An economic proxy war, which is why we blew up the Nord Stream pipeline.
We didn't blow up the Nord Stream pipeline.
And I think the only reason why people like countries like Germany and Europe go along with this militarization and this terrorism by the United States is because of all these bases that I have over my shoulder.
Yeah, they don't share our values or democracy or any of that kind of shit. They're just afraid we're gonna launch an attack on Germany from supply stops for naval bases that protect shipping routes, that giant tankers full of Mercedes and BMWs travel through. Get the fuck out of here.
And because we are the world's imperialists. And
yeah, that's why Japan speaks English and Germany speaks English. And there are American flags everywhere there. And we've killed the culture there. We've come in there. We've overrun Japan with our culture and our input. And same thing with Germany. I mean, there's nothing left. It's embarrassing. It's all baseball and freckle-faced kids. It's all like a Japan and Germany look like a goddamn Norman Rockwell painting. Don't even get me started on our shit in Africa.
Is there any other terrorist group in the world that you can think of that has caused more mayhem, set more fires, killed more people in the last 20 years than the United States and our military?
Well, I mean, if you want to call the Great Leap Backwards Mao Zedong in China, I mean, you're talking about somewhere in the order of 60 million people. You could talk about Russia's Holodomor and their attack on Georgia, their attack on Chechnya, their attacks on their own people. I mean, they're snuffing people in the street, in parks in London and on the street in Germany. The Wagner Group, of course, are in Sudan right now. In Somalia, which that guy brought up, Wagner mercs were terrorizing tribal people there to keep them from trying to engage in fighting for their rights in mining that Russia had an interest in. And the way they did this, they cut open the bellies of pregnant women and spilled their babies out onto the dirt as the women bled to death. Jimmy knows this, right? Jimmy's, I mean, this is what he does for a living.
Well, Jimmy, having served in the military for a career and served at DOD and served in education and transportation in the county, city, and state levels, I don't know that I would ascribe to the notion that America is a terrorist nation. What I will say is that there's a significant double standard, and I'll just tell you, I would say brigade commander.
Oh, yeah, somebody in the chat was like, Jimmy has a panic room. Guaranteed.
I'm a colonel in the 101st Airborne Division, commanding the Strike Brigade, the 2nd Brigade, and we were in Kosovo. Putting out small-scale Kosovo Albanians attacking Macedonians and defending against Serbs, and it was your standard peacekeeping chaos that was practically combat just about every day. And 9/11 happened. Bush came over to visit, and June of July of '01, and like 45 days later, 9/11 happens, and I get told, "Hey, you're coming back home, and then you're going to go to Afghanistan with my 4,000 troops." And I said, "Yeah, that's what we do. That's what we're paid to do." And so while I'm training, I get back.
By the way, they had a base. Bagram's been there for, God, I don't want to say since the 70s, but maybe the early 80s.
With my brigade, Thanksgiving Day, '01, and we almost immediately go into training, and the division commander, 2-star general, comes down, this early January '02, and says, "You're not going to Afghanistan, you're going to Iraq." And I'm like, "What the hell is in Iraq?" And the malfeasance of Bush, Cheney, Rumsfeld, Wolfowitz, Feith, all of them should be, taken to task for what they did.
Are you saying it matters who's in charge? Weird.
Obviously Rumsfeld's leftist, but the one time our country asked for a head on a platter, the one time that in at least modern history, that there's sort of casus belli and just war to go find this guy who plotted this. We don't do that. We have an economy of force, and as Rumsfeld famously said, there aren't enough targets in Afghanistan. Well, you had plenty of targets if your goal was to kill, capture Osama bin Laden and get the hell out of there. But those.
By the way, Jimmy rallied against John Kerry. He was, you can't change a horse midstream.
Those clowns forever changed the foreign policy, domestic policy of the United States. When they squandered the goodwill of the American people by redirecting.
Yeah. See, also Jimmy's not enjoying hearing this, and I'm done. It's like we're not going to learn anymore from these two dickheads blathering about this. But I wanted to make clear, like this, Jimmy's not interested in the details of any of this, the history of it. Like as far as he's concerned, this guy is and was a terrorist because he's part of it. He carries out terrorism, and everything he did in Kosovo was terrorism. Him just setting up in Afghanistan for this one particular base for base duty. That was terrorism. When they went to Iraq, that was terrorism. And then when they got moved over to Afghanistan again, that was terrorism. Like, it doesn't matter. None of this, the details don't matter. Jimmy is an isolationist who thinks that, like his country is a junk pop culture country at its root. And on one side and a total monster on the other. And he's comfortable with both. Useless culture that has no value and this great beast that he rides the back of, which is again the oddest thing about it. If you're gonna say your country is that bad, why are you here? The redacted folks moved to South America. They're living, high on the hog. Their dollar goes a lot farther down there than it goes up here. It always will. Largely because of slave labor and drug money, which Jimmy has no problem with. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm like over it in that regard. Let's go to so that's a small story though. It's small. It's small. I don't need to deal with this small bullshit. You guys don't need this small shit, do you? We need something. We need something meaty. Something huge. That's funny. This is huge, but because of the cropping on it, it looks like his is huge, which is funny. This is huge, not his is huge, because that's definitely not true. I'm just saying. And even if it was, how would he know? All right, here we go. This is hopefully this isn't too loud.
Give me some good news, will you?
Well, I will.
Okay, so he's got Eric Schmidt on the phone, Missouri Republican. Mass shooting Missouri. So I'm sure he's got great news for us.
So Monday, Missouri versus Biden is being argued at the Supreme Court, and it is, as we've talked about before, it's the most important free speech case in the history of the country, certainly in a generation, because it deals with the federal government in this vast censorship enterprise.
Oh my God! Wait, you do like these censorship industrial complex bullshit? Is this dude another Taibbi ball gargler?
Coercing, colluding, cajoling.
Legally, it did none of those things.
These social media giants.
It did none of them. And by the way, you can't. If big tech is smaller than the big government, then what's your argument?
Your speech, and what the judge found at the lower court, when I filed it when I was Attorney General in Missouri, what the judge found at the lower court was that this was almost exclusively conservatives being censored.
It couldn't be that that's where the crime is. It couldn't be that that's where the racial epithets are. Maybe that's where the fake doctors are. Maybe it's the people. It's almost exclusively you guys sucking this bad. Don't get me wrong. There's some lefties out there who are racist as shit. We've seen them, and they got kicked off too. That's why it's not exclusively.
It reeked of viewpoint discrimination, which violates the First.
It reeked of it. Is that a legal definition? Your Honor, we'd like to charge him with third-degree reeking.
Amendment, and it was Orwellian. I mean, what was uncovered?
Fuck off with the Orwell thing. I'm so sick of the 1984 shit. I gotta say, like, as hack premises go, we just gotta. It's in the fucking title of this video. How the government's Orwellian, and in quotes, all caps, social media censorship campaign could soon be defeated. Okay, first of all, if it's Orwellian, you can't defeat it. It's insurmountable. That's what the 1984 shit was about. It's insurmountable. We're going to fight back against the FBI letting Twitter know that some of their accounts are coming from an IP address in Macedonia that's run by a Russian hacker farm that breaks into hospitals and shuts down the electrical system in them. We're going to horrifyingly, authoritatively let them know and say, could you please get rid of these? They're fake. And they may say no.
Glenn, we're tens of thousands.
It's like fucking our problem isn't Big Brother, you dumb son of a bitch. Not in the United States. Our problem is Little Brother. Digital tattletale. Everybody with their fucking phones out all the time.
Of pages of emails and text messages from high-ranking government officials to social media giants saying, take it down, or we're going to launch an investigation, or we're going to, we're going to.
Is that what it said? Because that's not what it said.
Sue you under antitrust issues. I mean, really.
No, they didn't. Get the fuck out of here. Trump was threatening Facebook and stuff for their support of, like most of the shit, by the way, for the record, most of the shit from the Missouri case happened under Trump or was in place around like vaccine denial and that kind of shit that was put in place under Trump. The majority of the hits, the emails they're talking about happened under Trump. And a good portion of it where he's like threatening with them with antitrust violations was Trump attacking fucking Facebook because he wanted to get credit initially. Remember, he wanted to get credit for the vaccine. Now he's trying to distance himself from it. And now they want to lay this on Biden.
The full power of the federal government was being used to suppress.
No, it wasn't. Oh my God, you fucking lazy tool. The full power of the federal government. Do you have any idea what the full power of the federal government involves or what it's capable of? Listen to you. I mean, God damn, this is annoying. The full power of the federal government, motherfucker, they got Predator drones. We have a spy matrix, both inside and outside the United States, dealing with domestic and foreign attacks that are thwarted all the fucking time. We don't use them, But we know how to use every tool the Russian does, and we have access to all those toxins. Full force. Shut the fuck up. They asked, and Twitter turned them down on multiple occasions. If they can turn you down, it isn't suppression. If Twitter could say no, it's not censorship. And they said no multiple times.
Sent to silence Americans.
No. Also, that's the other part. This assumption that we're only Americans on that there are only Americans on all these giant social media platforms. Does this motherfucker think everybody on Twitter is an American? Does he think everybody worse? Does this asshole think that every person who says they're an American on Twitter is an American? Just take it for granted. Really? This is your representative, Missouri. This is the guy. So, can you imagine someone more gullible during the Cold War to be approached than Senator Eric Schmidt, Armo?
And so that's been shown in the case, and so that now...
No, it has not.
It's been appealed by the government. They want to continue to censor people, and the Supreme Court's going to hear oral arguments on that on Monday.
And how do you think it's going to go?
I'm hopeful. I just think...
Yeah. And how many people... Oh, sorry. Hold on one second.
In 2020, the population of Missouri was 6,160,281.
Yeah. So Missouri, a state with fewer people than Los Angeles County, I'll give them the outlying area, has 2 senators and a bunch of federal judges, all of them right-leaning or right-wing, appointed, a bunch of Trump appointees and the like, that have nothing better to do because they certainly are not busy making lives better for the people of Missouri. Dicking around, sending these cases up to effectively real judges on the Supreme Court. It's nonsense.
The case is a lot of it will come down to what was the government actually doing.
Sure. And who was president at the time? Do you remember?
And were they, in fact, coercing, right?
Sure. Yes. Also, what's coercion? Trump's threats?
Are they using the power of the federal government to get these social media giants to do the things that they can't legally do themselves? What makes this case unique is typically social media companies are sued by people who've been deplatformed or their posts have been taken down, and those go to the Northern District of California, and they're never to be seen again. But
right, because they're fucking ridiculous. That's where they show up and they go, here's our terms of service. That person clicked yes. That's how it works. It's a private company, dum-dum. It's not a goddamn public park.
What's unique in our case is that we've sued the federal government itself and the actors like Jen Psaki and Anthony Fauci. I had a chance to take Anthony Fauci's deposition, took Elvis Chan's deposition, who was...
Yeah, by the way, other like Jen Psaki, how the fuck did Jen Psaki put the fear of God in Twitter? Is that what he considers the full force of the federal fucking government?
Of course, the FBI agent in charge, who was pre-bunking the Hunter Biden laptop story, calling it Russian disinformation, a hack.
Which it is.
And leak operation,
which it is.
Even though they had the laptop already.
No, they didn't. No. They have a prop laptop allegedly dropped off. None of the contents of it are on that laptop. The contents of the stuff they get from a hard drive, the same hard drive that they were passing around amongst Rudy Giuliani's friends, right? And then suddenly that one's got a lot more fucking footage and pictures and files on it.
They were pre-bunking this, getting ready for 2020.
No, they weren't pre-bunking it. They were giving a legit warning. There's something coming. We're hearing the chatter. This is coming around. If it was real, you wouldn't have fucking Smirnoff wouldn't be going to jail.
The COVID, the
COVID
efficacy of masks. They were suppressing that speech. Vaccine.
They were suppressing the efficacy of masks speech. Okay, first of all, during Trump, Secondly, what he's talking about is a statement by Fauci from years before, where he said, that when you're talking about masks as a functional way of stopping the spread of diseases, it's not, like coronaviruses, mainly because people touch everything, they touch their fingers on stuff, and they touch their eyes. That won't sufficiently do it. And of course, he's talking about a regular flu season at that time. Later on, they would study that I think it was in June of 2020, they did one of the most comprehensive studies about masks, and it turned out it does slow the spread. And in a lot of cases, it lowers the amount of virus you're exposed to when you are, so your body isn't overwhelmed with a huge dose of the shit.
Origins of COVID, where they were shutting anybody down who talked about this coming from the lab. And
No, they weren't. First of all, nobody, especially at that time, and this is also during Trump, nobody knew it came from the lab specifically. There were rumors about it. There were whispers of it. The assumption was that it came from there. That's where the story was rolling from. None of these assholes were talking about it knew where it came from. So their assertions largely were stacked on top of racism. And again, calling it the China virus or the Chinese virus or whatever, that was the difficulty. And post 9/11, one of the lessons we learned in the United States is that when you start associating a racial group or a religious group or a nationality with a particular bad circumstance that happened, a disaster, a terrorist act, something like that, there tends to be a blowback within your own country where these people get harmed. Innocent human beings of that nationality and elsewhere. And we saw this in the rise of attacks on Asian people across the country that was directly related to it. That was the reason why. Also, Twitter and them can do whatever the fuck they want.
Wuhan. And so all that's uncovered in this lawsuit. And if it wasn't for this lawsuit, Glenn, and then later Elon Musk buying Twitter with the Twitter files, and then later some of the congressional.
Yeah, by the way, Twitter files, dud and dumb. Are you going to cover in your lawsuit the thing where Elon Musk and Matt Taibbi get into a pissing match, and he kicks him off the platform and won't let him spread his stuff on? You're going to put that part in? Because isn't that suppression? Once he didn't like what Matt Taibbi was doing, he deplatformed him for financial reasons, by the way, it seems, because of I guess his Substack stuff.
Hearings. This stuff would still be in the.
Which would that be a violation of antitrust laws? Because it's specific. You could certainly post shit on Facebook or Meta, right? Instagram and other places.
Dark. It would still be a conspiracy theory, but it was happening. And what we refer to it in the lawsuit is a vast censorship enterprise.
Under Trump.
The number of agencies and people involved here is breathtaking. And the, sometimes willing behavior of social media companies to comply and
I mean, honestly, ladies and gentlemen, if I could present to you a situation where a man steps on his own rake so poetically.
And the, sometimes willing behavior of social media companies.
The vast conspiracy of the sometimes willing behavior. That would be the time, that will be the time when they agreed with the FBI, and the time they weren't willing, they just didn't do it. And again, you do not have coercion if the person has choice. There is no such thing as consent to coercion. The moment of consent eliminates the possibility of coercion. Fucking stupid. Oh, God.
To comply.
Please, God, let them have these oral arguments. At least let me hear them when they do them online.
And deplatform and censor people. But in some instances, they actually didn't want to do it.
Right.
And they changed their rules. So
that's why.
What do you mean they changed their rules? No, they didn't. Sometimes they listen to, hey, we think that's real. Or sometimes, no, our stuff is telling us that is okay. also, by the way, the vast majority of the interaction between the federal government and Facebook and any of the social media companies, including Twitter, is to let them know about sex trafficking, drug trafficking, violence, like home invasions that are live streamed, shit like that. The moments that happen, they get word from a local police force, or they get something that's coming in from another country, and they're like, hey, just to let you know, they're live streaming this now. Like ISIS is going to live stream this on like 6 accounts. You might want to know that, and they shut them down because that's actually what 90% of what they're doing online in interaction with these companies is.
What I wanted to ask you about, how much of this do you think was willing, and how much of it was fear of the government?
And did that fear change after Biden came in?
Both. So, yeah, I mean, these social media platforms typically were very aligned with the left. I think in many
So why would you have to coerce them if they're already on the team?
instances, Facebook, for example, after 2016 and Donald Trump won, they made it clear publicly they were never going to let that happen again.
Yeah, I remember that. Remember when Facebook said, we're never going to let Donald Trump get reelected as a company? That's definitely that we're making a public statement. No, they didn't. Not in any measure. What? No, it never happened. Like, if you want to talk about fake news and lying overtly, that's what that just was.
Right. They were never going to let that happen again. And so I think some of this was...
What are you laughing about, fuckhead? They didn't say anything like that. They didn't do anything like that.
Overtly political on their part, and they were willing participants. But there are documents that were uncovered where they were pushing back. It is not, it didn't violate their terms of service. And as one judge said in one of the previous arguments, that's a nice social media company you have there, right? It'd be a shame if something happened to it. Almost like a mob boss.
Oh, yeah, that is mob.
Coming from the government.
That is.
Wait a minute. Remember when Trump went after Schmidt, listen to me. I'm trying to read and speak at the same time. Adam Schiff. When he went after Adam Schiff, and he was like, Adam Schiff, like, made me sound like a mob boss, and he lied into the congressional record, right? Because he paraphrased what Trump was saying.
In one of the previous arguments, as one judge said in one of the previous arguments, that's a nice social media company you have there, right? It'd be a shame if something happened to it.
Yes, a Trump appointee was making the inference. He was helping your side of the argument. This is why it's going to fail when you get it up to the Supreme Court, because it's fucking dumb. Secondly, you're watching Hal Sparks Mega Worldwide. Like, subscribe, give a thumbs up, support the show. Patreon.com/Hal Sparks, and on we go. And by the way, thanks for the likes and the bits, and you can help people by giving memberships and subscriptions and gifting them and all the things. All right.
Almost like a mob boss.
Oh yeah, that is mob.
Coming from the government.
Oh yeah, it's totally like a mob boss. That's exactly. I mean, they didn't say that, and that's a Trump appointee who hates Facebook because he blames him for Trump not getting reelected and not his shit policies and being a dickhead. Excellent.
That is.
Yeah.
Mob.
So this is again the all the power that the federal government has, exerting that on these social media companies to do what they can't legally do themselves, which is to censor. And so this case is it's hard.
What I hear, and I don't know if you're hearing the same thing, but what I'm hearing from Eric Schmidt and Glenn Beck and Stu, because silence is acceptance, is that they are sick and tired of the federal government trying to stop child porn. This is overreach by the federal government, and by telling people what they can and cannot buy, film, watch, or obtain, or store, or disseminate. This is a violation of free speech, and that these three guys are sick to death of the government doing stuff in the regular order of business that would put a crimp in those people's eyes. These are Americans, okay? These are Americans.
Me, as somebody who believes deeply in the right to free speech and what
he's a child porn absolutist.
That means for a country and
yeah, I mean, if selling meth on Snapchat isn't covered by free speech, is this even America?
Freedom. This is, in my view, one of the most important cases that, in general, the court's heard in a very, very long time.
Because it's from your state, and you're trying to put a flag in the ground, dum-dum.
Yeah.
But certainly as it relates to the First Amendment.
How is this going to...
important because we're dealing with the virtual town square now, Glenn.
How?
The virtual town square. Okay, first of all, no, we're not. All those places are not paid for with your fucking tax dollars the way the town square is. You fucking commie. I don't get it. I have to say, like, for all of these folks bitching about Marxists and communists and socialists and commie-socialists, Marxists everywhere, they talk about private companies digitally online that take up no physical space in your life. None of us have to walk through Facebook to get to the mall, right? They just exist in the digital ether. So it's no fucking... There's so many social media networks that none of us fucking use. They just exist, right? They're just there. We don't use them, but we don't care. And we don't think of like, Jesus Christ, we should write a traffic law about this. I can't get through here to get to the other one. God damn it. Like, we don't even think about it in those terms because they don't take up any physical space. The town square is literally an area in the city or in the town where you are that is paid for by tax dollars where everyone's allowed. It's a park. And we don't discriminate based on, your status as long as you're an American or you're visiting or some shit. But that's the idea. These are all private companies on servers they pay for, most of which I would argue are not even in the fucking United States, although a bunch of them are not too far from my house. The Switch, which is one of the companies it's a big company here in Nevada. They have rows and rows of these like server buildings. And those guys, like, that's all they do. It's just, that's all your fucking pictures and cloud stuff and all that stuff. That's all stored in these areas. That's it. But I'm not like driving around like I should get free web space because I live in this neighborhood and I have to drive around. I have to drive past that place to get further down the road. Jesus.
How is this going to affect the new systems that they're putting in for mis and disinformation and the government's, work with Five Eyes and with...
By the way, that's our intelligence partners.
Social media and the rest of the media where they are just training them and guiding them through mis and disinformation. Will this case have anything to do with that? Because that's a
Glenn, we're almost at the end of Biden's first term. If any of your worries were true or any of this was anywhere near a possibility, your show would not be on the air anymore. You're getting into Alex Jones territory, dipshit. Again, this is how we know, chat room, and you guys know this. This is how we know that Alex Jones is full of shit. Is because if anything he was saying over the last few years, since he started, if any of it, besides the obvious minor fact base that he uses to draw his bullshit conclusions from, if any of his conclusions about the cabal that's behind the scenes running everything, if any of that was true, there are only two options. If what Alex Jones is saying was true, there's only two possible options. One, if he's still alive, he's working for them. And two, of course, he'd be dead. That's the only way to read this. If anything even remotely close to what this asshole's been talking about, he'd either be dead or you just have to assume that if it is true, he works for them. Because they wouldn't let him keep doing this shit and exposing their secrets and telling all the truth. They wouldn't let him. They go, okay, now what kind of bullshit am I supposed to feed these dough-headed motherfuckers this week so that they ignore all the stuff you're actually doing? How am I supposed to make them look the other way? Basically, I mean, I don't mind being your fucking dancing girl in your magic show or whatever, but I just need to know exactly when the trick happens. Do I have to do a dance, or do I have to drive around, or that? There's just no fucking way. No fucking way. Yeah. Same thing with this. Yeah, it's the globalist idea. Now, how are we doing on time? We're okay. All right. So, let's go. Yeah, here. Apparently, I don't know if you know this, but the end is nigh. Let's just get to the end, and then we'll eat dessert first. Come on, let's do that. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Mike Pillow wearing his Katie Britt cross. And he's I don't know why, like, they hate big tech, but there's an ad that you can get the Real America's Voice on Apple TV, and that's the fucking logo, like you're selling the goddamn thing. It's over is the title of this video. Mike Lindell hedges on Supreme Court evidence, which, again, let's get used to the idea that Steve Bannon is going to be making fun of this dumb motherfucker. Okay, here we go. Good boy.
Mike Lindell, today's game day. Before you found God and Jesus, you were a degenerate. You were a degenerate gambler. You heard many times in your life, "Put up or shut up." Today's your day. What are you going to put up?
Well, first.
Is this his tinfoil hat joke?
First of all, Steve, all these tinfoil hats, I have no use for them anymore. Today's the day, everybody.
You don't think they, you don't think they can get through tinfoil? Secondly, what have you been chewing it?
It's over. The Supreme Court case will be filed today.
He made a bunch of tinfoil hat props that he threw away right at the top of the thing to tell us that he's filing his case today. I honest to God, it says Mike Lindell hedges on Supreme Court evidence. I thought they'd agreed to hear it.
And we're very excited. I've waited for this day for 3 years, and the open door is finally there. You're going to see things you've never seen before.
Yikes.
Everybody.
You mean Steve Bannon bathed?
It's going to be filed. It sounds like later today.
It's going to be filed. Sounds like later today. Well, shit. I will begin to hold my breath right fucking now.
Could be even towards the early evening. And tomorrow.
Sorry, I couldn't even do it that long.
Tomorrow we're going to have a press conference we're setting up on.
Oh, yeah. Set it up. Yeah, don't set it up now. You're going to be setting it up. I mean, you knew you were going to file it today, but why do it on Wednesday? It's Friday. You could have. Don't do that.
Well, I have all information on that for you later today, Steve.
Yeah, sure.
And I'd love to get on your show tomorrow to announce everything to the world. We can go over this new explosive.
Why would you wait if you're gonna? What are you gonna do? You have to file it before you tell everybody. If it's evidence, it's evidence.
Never, but see, this is gonna shock the world.
I'm assuming. When was this put out? Hold on. This was yesterday. This was 1 day ago. Did I miss the world shock? Fuck. I did, didn't I? How'd I miss it? When did the world shock happen? And God damn it. I was probably playing Gang Beasts with my kid when it happened. Son of a bitch. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it's a delayed shock. Tomorrow, maybe later tonight, maybe tomorrow afternoon, and maybe they're planning the shock after the, maybe, you know what, I'm interrupting. Maybe it's the shock happens while you watch it. It's kind of like scratch and sniff, only Stu.
Everybody, it's going to shock the world.
Past tense, I got to say.
So, I'm very excited.
Mm-hmm. Were you now? What was the exciting part? You know, what's different than you know, if you're gonna, you know, God, if you're gonna, you know, send this down to the Supreme Court, there, you know, find out maybe, you know, the possibility, you know, that they're gonna see that this is gonna shock the monkey.
By the way, it's the new MAGA deal. Go to the site right now. The orders of new MAGA deal.
The new, okay, I'm gonna go right there. It's just very exciting. I'm part of the Lindell universe. Maybe a bunch of you folks don't know that the new KNU new MAGA deal new Gary Gnu MAGA deal winning winning team publishing the new MAGA deal pre-order. Oh, it's a new book by Peter Navarro. Oh, I get it. I thought this was the super evidence. That's my mistake. He's just trying to get bail money for, yeah. So what he means there, hold on, I'll show you that, show you what that is. That's the book that comes up when you do that, the new MAGA deal. So I think what he's trying to do is like a New Deal thing, but he just shoved MAGA in there, you know, for obvious reasons. Instead of, because the New Deal MAGA style just was, it just had too much pithy nuance to it. So the new instead of the, because they didn't want to do MAGA New Deal because that sounds like Green New Deal, only dumb. And yeah, so good. So that's what that goes there.
This is why Lindell's an entrepreneur. One of the reasons he came to Trump is he saw that Trump was backing entrepreneurs. Trump's backing the people. As a populist economic nationalist, backs entrepreneurs. Mike Lindell's an entrepreneur.
Yeah. So, as are most drug dealers.
Mike Lindell's an entrepreneur they try to put in bankruptcy because of what he's doing today.
No, because of what he did for 2 years straight. I'm just saying that didn't start now. He's got $1 billion lawsuits from shit that happened 2 years ago.
That's why I'm so appreciative of this audience having his back. This would have never come.
Oh, so we're gonna get another promo code then, I guess. Oh, good. Okay, I lost my original promo code, so it's something War Room, but I don't remember. Honestly, I have a habit, and most people know this, of blowing my nose on pieces of paper that I've written very important notes on, and that's why a lot of my best friends are nicknamed Booger. It's a running gag.
And the evidence here is going to blow people away.
Well, I think it's going to shock them, then blow them away. It sounds like terrorism. I got to admit. Like, I don't know. Is he attempting to? Is this an attempted like electronic attack on the Supreme Court? Like, did he manage to find a way to commandeer a Jewish space laser?
The question is going to be asked, hey, how come this?
Yeah, absolutely. People are going to ask questions. And answers are so 2015.
Hasn't come forward sooner. Where were?
Yeah, that is the big question. What, you had all this stuff all this time, and you embarrassed yourself with all the other shit. Why wouldn't you just bring this? If this is the good stuff, why wouldn't you just lead with the good stuff? It's like trying somebody for murder or whatever, and you're like, we don't need the murder weapon or the witnesses. We're going to convict this guy on my opinion of whether or not I like his car.
The Murdochs on this thing is going to be so explosive, Mike. Yeah. From and this show.
From what kind of explosive are we talking about?
They just explode.
I see. So, but they're in terms of.
They just explode.
So they just explode. Okay, I gotcha. All right, I was confused.
Shows tenacity. It's just like Harnwell in the monastery.
Yes, Emphasis on the acity.
In the Academy of the Judeo-Christian West, we wouldn't give up. We spend millions. We sit there and hammer it out until we got acquitted on all charges because we knew we were right. We could have folded at any time. You could have folded at any time. Mike, you had every opportunity to walk away and say, hey, look, I'm a businessman. I'm not in politics. I got to go make my pillow bigger. You didn't do that. You stood in the breach and said, no, my country comes first.
Yeah, but mostly that was because he was a gullible dickhead in the beginning, and quite frankly, according to everything that we've seen since, he is a
asshole.
Yeah.
And they could try to put me in jail, have the FBI take my phone, try to bankrupt me, but I'm going to stand. And that's quite frankly why the audience loves you so much,
because you're willing to defame a company that didn't do anything wrong and use the bully pulpit that people like Steve Bannon are giving you to denigrate this company and create the illusion that our elections aren't secure in the United States. And it's really strong of you. You're a good person.
You're one of like Rudy, Trump. These people don't back.
Oh, so he grabs people. He sexually assaults people too. I mean, that's one of these things is just like the other. One of these things is a skeevy prick.
Down. They're fighting for their country. Trump could have walked away and gone back.
Not really. No, he can't. I mean, they would have. He could have gone. I suppose he could have walked away, gotten on his plane, and gone to a country with no extradition. But
back to Mar-a-Lago, Rudy could have done all of his stuff up in New York City. You could have
all of his stuff. No, not all of his stuff, because a good portion of it is illegal. Ask the actress who played the 15-year-old girl in Borat.
Been out in Minnesota rooting for the hapless Vikings, like I know you love them. It's all, but you didn't. You said no. Rudy said no. Trump said no. You said no.
Yeah, it's really anything with more than two letters is very complicated. Once you start saying yes, that's the problem. That's why we hated Obama with that yes I can stuff. Yes we can. It was just terrible. No, we can't. No, we're not going to do no.
People know Peter Navarro wouldn't be going to prison next week. You could have.
Well, he tried to walk away. They arrested him at the airport, I think. He was trying to fly away.
Walked away. He's a Harvard PhD.
Well, I'm pretty sure Ted Cruz go to Harvard, or was that Yale? Either way.
These are
doesn't bode well.
Heroes and patriots. People have said, no way. My country comes first.
If I keep up this charade long enough, then Donald Trump will give me a pardon once he gets back in, and I'm dumb enough to believe he's going to win again.
These people stole this election. We're going to get in it, and we're going to prove they stole it.
Yeah. And I want you to know, Steve Bannon is not just pushing Mike Pillow down this road. He is not trying to trick him emotionally into continuing this bullshit and getting himself into more trouble so that he has nowhere else to go but on Steve's show. That's not what's happening here. I want you to know that.
And we're going to set things right. Mike Lindell.
Yep, and that's right. And courage is contagious. And we're not done yet just because.
It is. Like the clap.
Because when this comes out today, everybody, and you need to go to lindellplan.com, everybody. Check.
See, okay, he sent me to the wrong website. He sent me to a new MAGA deal or something. Lindell Plan.com. Okay, sure. Lindell. That goes to the Lindell Offense Fund. That forwards to Lindell Offense Fund when you type that in. We need your financial help immediately to secure our election, save our country. Donate now to help him pay his $1 billion fee. Description keys found in this will shock the world. It is like a bank telling the public they have the most secure vault in the world and then taping the combination on the wall next to the vault door. Even worse, key logging features that would record system activity show such control can also be manipulated or disabled. Therefore, thereby, therein rendering any penetration of the system nearly undetectable. So this is the greatest lawsuit ever because we don't have to prove a negative. The negative is the point. So good. So exciting. Oh, I feel shocked.
Get out there. You got to get this, spread the word far and wide. We've got to, just because it's coming out and here it's going to be in front of us.
Yeah, just because you're going to say it on this show doesn't mean anybody's going to see it or repeat it, because it's bullshit largely. But
we're the ones that have to get the word out. Fox News isn't going to do it for.
And definitely not going to, they got bigger things to do, trying to, I don't know, stay on the air or something.
For us, Newsmax ain't going to do it for us.
Newsmax. More like news hacks, right?
Those media outlets are not going to do it.
No, they're not. I'm going to do it. They're not going to do it. I always do it. I love to do it. I just did it. I'm going to do it again.
Hopefully we get attacked and the attack dogs come out and go, oh, wait.
The attack dogs, those are the worst. Because not only do they scratch when they jump on you because they have tacks in their paws, but they make a clickety sound when they walk across the laminate.
I guess he does that. There is something here. Wow.
Wow. At least, the one thing I like about him is that at least he doesn't say wow all the time.
What? Wow.
Yeah. And he doesn't make promises that it doesn't happen.
This is going to reveal all the evil in our country.
Okay, not all of it, but maybe, well, none.
What?
No, it's true.
Wow.
Okay.
So this is going to shock the world. And
Monkey.
And Steve, I just can't think. I always want to thank the War Room Posse, because part of me not giving up, we needed support. And My Pillow, our employee-owned company,
Oh, it's their fault now. I see.
They're the ones that got attacked too. So their CEO would.
Why would they get it? They didn't get it. They didn't get attacked. They didn't get attacked. You got attacked. You just wouldn't fucking leave. They didn't get attacked.
Shut up, which I never will ever. And
I hope not.
But the War Room Posse has had their back.
By the way, if you'll notice, when you said I'm never going to shut up ever, Steve Bannon laughed at you.
And that's why we give them all the great specials. And I want to throw that one in before we get off here. You guys, the percale sheets that you've all.
Oh, stop it. Fuck off there. Jesus Christ.
Wow.
What an
asshole.
I mean, you won't say what the evidence is, but then you come in here trying to sell your lumpy pillows to everybody.
Lumpy pillows, kiss my ass.
Kiss your own ass.
Wow.
Well, I mean, what do you expect, you piece of shit?
Wow.
Well, you are.
Wow.
Everybody knows it, too.
What?
It's true. I remember one time Mike Lindell walked into a party. It wasn't a party. It was a Hardee's, actually. And he like grabbed the top of his fly and he was about to unzip his pants in front of the whole restaurant. And he said,
"This is going to reveal all the evil in our country."
And then he's like, "Why'd the FBI arrest me?"
What?
Yeah, exactly. So not good. Not good. I'm not going to let you sell fucking pillows. You're not going to tell us what the shocking info is, but you're going to tell us what a promo code is, you asshole. And you're going to let him give you the wrong fucking thing. Oh, I don't like him. All right, let's look at Supreme Court case filed. Dun, 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 dun. Will shock the world. Shock the monkey. Decryption keys found in voting machines. Let's see. After 3 years of dedication, the Lindell Offense Fund, see what they did there? Created by Mike Lindell, I wouldn't have guessed from the title, is supporting a critical injunction case delivered by attorneys with the Supreme Court of the United States. The Lake versus Fontes case calls for SCOTUS to issue a writ of certiorari on the Arizona Ninth Circuit Court, which has thus far refused to address evidence of election manipulation using electronic voting systems. Now even more compelling and explosive evidence is being submitted to the SCOTUS. This case started in Arizona, calling for an injunction against the machines featuring Carrie Lake and Mark Fincham as the plaintiffs. Federal District Court Judge John Tucci dismissed the lawsuit based upon standing and ruled that the claims were too speculative. The Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals affirmed that ruling and has now been brought to the Supreme Court. Please share this page everywhere. Note, the original plan was to wait until the Supreme Court docketed our filing before we posted the filing to the public in accordance with standard protocol, but someone intent upon shaping the contents of the filing with false narratives leaked it on Friday to the general public. What kind of an asshole did this so read the filing to know the truth. See the filing here. 210 pages. Carrie Lake and Mark Fincham, petitioners against Adrian Fontes, Secretary of State, on petition of the writ of of the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit. Petition for the writ of Question present. 2022 candidate for governor and Secretary of State. Petitioners in Arizona Secretary of State, 2 counties challenge whether electronic voting machines assure fair and accurate vote under the Due Process Clause and their right as candidates and voters. Petitioners also sought a preliminary injunction, and 6 cyber or national security experts testified on the voting machine's unsuitability to provide a secure and accurate vote. The testimony and evidence showed actual electronic vote tampering in prior elections, which the district court disregarded in finding petitioners' claims to be too speculative for Article 3 standing. Questions presented are whether an Article 3 case or controversy existed at the relevant times and still exists, whether petitioner may amend their allegations of jurisdiction to allege recently discovered litigation injury, whether petitioners' injuries, if moot, are nonetheless capable of repetition, yet evading review. Parties to the proceeding, statement of related cases. Here's the table of authorities, statement of related cases, petition for opinions below, jurisdiction, statutory provisions involved, statement of the case. Page 1. This is a bunch of shit. Singleton v. Wolf, okay, these are all like 2016, 1974, 2020. These are all there. So they're trying to dazzle everyone with filings. Okay. Shall we look? Shall we dance? We shall. Etc., etc., etc. Sorry, I feel like I should. Is there a let's see. Yeah. I should put on a lens that looks like Carrie Lake. I'll try to do no, that won't work. Hold on. How about this one? How about this one? Yeah, that's good. Does that make me look like Carrie Lake? Let's see. It's a little too much. There you go. How about this one? I don't know if this is a blur. This is too much, whatever. This one looks just like Carrie Lake. Oh, that'll work. No. I don't even know what the fuck that is supposed to be. So, yeah, here's my Carrie Lake imager. Let's see. How about this? Come on, you prick. Let's see. I actually like this one better. This one looks like Carrie Lake. This is the closest we'll get. This is fine. Carrie Lake and Mark Fincham respectfully petitioned the court for a writ of certiorari to the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit to review the dismissal of their case. The respondents are Arizona Secretary of State and the boards of supervisors. Blah, 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 fucking blah. The Ninth Circuit per curiam opinion is reported the jurisdiction on the things, the statement of the case. Public distrust in elections is at an all-time high and growing. Hold on. I got to do something else. This has got to be like we all need the glamorous life. We all need a mess that we don't need. Hold on, this won't work. This is better. Oh wait, this will be good. This might do it. It's too much. It just does all the fucking background. Never mind. All right, I gotta have a softener filter. It's not gonna work. Public distrust in elections is an all-time high and growing. As of 2022, candidates for governor and secretary of state petitioners filed the action in advance of the election to challenge Arizona's electronic voting machine's suitability to assure fair and accurate votes consistent. Although electronic voting machines were meant to remedy snafus like the 2000 Florida recount, the flaws that petitioners unearthed in electronic voting machines make hanging chads, the very problem the machines were meant to solve, seem like a blessing. At least there, humans could see and touch ballots and punch cards. But also, by the way, they have physical ballots. If they miscounted them, you just recount the physical fucking ballots. Good Lord. By turning ballots over to black boxes running software outside the public domain. Also, why would you have public domain election software? Are you fucking out of your mind? Do you just think that our enemies wouldn't what do you want to use? Open source fucking election software? Why don't you just print the admin password as well? Jesus Christ. Password is password. If Carrie Lake was in charge of the CIA, every password would just be password. Seemed like humans could see and touch ballots, blah, blah, blah. Newly uncovered evidence also shows Arizona's Maricopa County flagrantly violated state law for electronic voting systems, including using altered software not certified for use in Arizona, and actively misrepresented and concealed those violations. Perhaps worse, although potentially unknown to Maricopa, the Dominion voting systems and corporate systems used in Maricopa and almost 30 states have built-in security breach enabling malicious actors to take control of the elections, likely without detection. So we don't have to prove that it happened. We can just say it does. What would be the evidence for this? That's the part I want to see. Importantly, this court has this is their version of the case. Wouldn't there be a footnote in that one? Maybe there is. Maybe they're down here. Georgia's curling litigation. Oh my God, we're at war with Canada now. Curling v. Raffensperger. Reverse here, limiting lands. Second part of the implementation. Legal background. 3 justices. Yada yada. Sovereign immunity, ex-party, factual background, basic for standing on their complaint. Okay, their factual base is not in this. Critical parts in countries like China that are known adversary. Okay, here you go. Let's see. Instead, the accuracy of elections results depends on blindly trusting private companies, and they're not blindly trusting the private companies. They have oversight by the boards. They just don't. It's not public because, again, what do you want to just let hackers in? Jesus. Who sell and service these machines while refusing to make their software available to neutral expert evaluation. Yeah, that's the problem. Your guys aren't neutral. The machines are easily compromised and the security safeguards are easily bypassed or defeated and shown to deliver inaccurate results. Appendix 55A, 56A, 65 to 82A, 88 to 91A. Okay, so and then whatever. They contain critical parts made in countries like China that are known adversaries that routinely use components such as motherboards and microchips to surreptitiously access computer systems. The question is not how many. Okay, so they bounced to China. Okay, so let's go to the appendix. 55A, 56A should be the thing, I guess, largely. Let's go to... It's 100A, 29A. There we go. 44A. All right, here we go. We're getting in the ballpark. Let's see what they got. They filed. They're basically stacking cases from other places. So we'll jump in at 51A, 52, 50. Oh, stop it. 55A, 54A. There we go. Here you go. 55A. Okay. All electronic voting machines and election, this is 24, management systems, including those slated to be used in Arizona in the midterm election, can be manipulated through internal or external intrusion to alter votes and vote tallies. Specific vulnerabilities in the electronic voting machines used by Maricopa have been explicitly identified and publicized in analysis by cybersecurity experts, even absent access to the systems. What is this from? Hold on. This is from another case that they said. That's not evidence. That's just, yeah. This is their old filing. Fuck you. That's not, you don't get to that's not part of the appendix, asshole. Okay, let me tell you. You guys know, enough of that shit. You guys know that I've read just about everything. And when I was in high school, I read Wicked and the Giant Within. I read Art of the Deal, which was stupid. Like halfway through, I was like, this is just goofy. I read Dianetics. And because it was, at that time, nobody really knew much about Scientology, but the book was out as kind of how to, control your own mind. And I'm like, I'm for all that. I read books on lucid dreaming, all kinds of shit. Like, that's just how I am. I'm interested in that kind of stuff. So I read it. And one of the things, this is how I decided at that time, and I was 17 when I read it. Yeah. I was like, this is how you can tell a book is trash. is when in chapter 10, the author of the book cites themselves, where they go, as I said in chapter 3, like it's evidence now, because you said it in chapter 3, it's now part of the human record. Right now, the time has passed. So it's basically history. So I'm just quoting history. The history of you reading my book. It's fucking stupid. And the first 3 pages are just like ripped, or the first 3 chapters are just like ripped from like run-of-the-mill studies on how the brain works and that kind of stuff, and then his own attitude and ideas about it, and then he would cite himself. And I'm like, that's how you know somebody's full of shit, is they are citing themselves in this garbage. That's exactly what we're looking at here. That's exactly what this dickhead is doing. For the record, this is So, needless to say, that did not shock the world. It's not gonna shock the world. The world is not shocked. My monkey is not shocked. This is shocked. You want to see something shocking? I'm sorry. I should have warned you. It's Larry Kudlow, who is looking. By the way, is it because Mitch McConnell is retiring that he's like, look, I'm retiring the turtle look. If you'd like to have, yep. If you'd like to be the turtle from now on, Larry, I'm not using it anymore. But apparently it's over, and there's going to be a revolt. Kudlow, there's going to be a revolt over this, and he would know, because if anyone knows anything about being revolting, it's Larry Kudlow.
All right, now for the latest liberal lunacy, Senator Bernie Sanders. Yes, the commie socialist from
the commie socialist from Vermont. You mean the state that Trump lost?
Vermont introduced a bill. It would establish a 32-hour work week without any reduction in pay. How generous of him. Problem is, this would likely hurt a lot of small businesses. We'll have more on that in a moment. Meanwhile, out in the great state of California, lawmakers there are proposing a surcharge on electricity bills based off your income instead of usage. Oh, I thought we treat people equally. Meaning the more you make, the more you're going to pay for the same exact.
Calibration for a new electric plan. Make more, pay more. This would be, but what it's going to be is by neighborhoods.
Energy.
We'll see. This is from foxbusiness.com. And again, this is one of those things where they show their own article. What do you think? Hold on. Whoops. Real quick. On Twitch, just texting you. Go. Oh, yes. CSL hug. There you go.
Us now. He's the host of Kudlow on the Fox Business Network.
Yeah, we did great stuff. Jen.
Larry Kudlow is with us. All right. So I'm reading this and I'm like looking at this. They already have the highest paid, the highest income taxes in the country out in California. You see business after business after business leaving California, their headquarters.
No, you don't.
And you can't blame them. Why don't they just say, all of you people that make money and create jobs, get out of our state? Because that's ostensibly what they're.
That's ostensibly. I guess ostensibly. Ostensibly. I'm trying to find something real quick. I don't know that this will work at all. Nope. No. Now suddenly under the sea. I just know if I do this, it's not gonna. I'm not gonna. All turtles are green, so I'm not like. Oh, yup. Yeah. Well, you know, Sean. Sorry, my bourbon was coming up on me a little bit. Yep, nobody lives in California or New York anymore. There's no business like no business, and that's the way that's why everybody's moving. They're all moving to Texas, where if you can say anything, you can trust the electrical grid. Yup.
Doing anyway.
Well, I'm glad you asked me that there, Sean.
Yeah, give us your money. Give us your money. I mean, what's so wonderful about this California thing is it's not even tied to electricity use. It's just an income tax increase. And by the way, yes,
all right, enough of that. That's just super weird.
Upper end pays more, but the stupid part of this, and this is where there's going to be revolt.
Yeah, there's going to be but you know, if you come with torches, they're going to charge you more for the carbon to offset the carbon from your torch if you make more money. Right? Is that the idea?
Look at the numbers here, Sean. The middle class is going to be charged significantly. I did the math here. The middle class right now pays about $3,200 a year for their electricity bills. That, by the way, is at the highest in the nation. This would add about $1,200, whether you consume more or less electricity. It's going to go on your bill.
Yeah, so you're gonna pay for electricity you don't even use. How many people think, by the way, that we're gonna see a major yeah but in this article? Can I, if I may, let's look back at this real quick. Okay, California braces. Oh, it's gonna be good. I just feel it. California braces for new electric plan. Newsman. California braces new electric plan. Make more, pay more. This is the idea. Okay, here we go. There we go. This is fucking California and their bullshit about trying to help poor people or some nonsense. I'm bracing for it. Are you bracing for it? I'm braced. I feel braced. California. Okay. What is this? California may what? Whoa. May charge electricity customers based on income. Okay. Los Angeles. How to go green without going broke? That's the latest challenge in the alternative energy capital of California, where Democrats propose taxing the rich to make energy more equitable and affordable. To do so, lawmakers mandated utilities statewide begin billing ratepayers based not on how much electricity they use, but how much money they make. This would be the first state to charge people based on their income rather than what they actually use, said Sean Hyatt, the director of the USC Business of Energy Transition Initiative. The problem here has been affordability. While California is focused on completely on clean energy, it has disregarded reliability and affordability and caused, okay, that guy's got a thumb on the scale. The California Public Utilities Commission has until July 1st to impose the new rate structure. The state's three main utilities, Pacific Gas and Electric, Southern California Edison, proposed a tiered rate plan. Households earning $28,000, $69,000 would be charged an extra $20 to $34 a month. Those earning $69,000, $180,000 would pay $51 to $73 a month. And those earning more than $180,000 would pay $85 to $128 monthly surcharge. There's a lot considering California's electricity rates are already among the highest in the nation. People live in California have been paying 32 cents a kilowatt. They mentioned 30. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Read on the Fox Business app. EVs make air dirtier than gas-powered cars. California pushing new man. Okay, whatever. Folks completely on energy. Alternative energy. All right, well, hold on. Let's go with what the fuck this story is. May. Why is it May if they're implementing it for real? Let's see. California screaming.
Out here, California may soon become the first state to charge electricity customers based on how much money they earn. National correspondent William Lajeunesse is here in Los Angeles with that story tonight.
Clean energy is just less expensive.
It's also now cheaper to generate electricity from wind and solar than it is from coal and oil.
Renewable energy is not cheaper than natural gas or coal or other types of baseload energy.
That debate is playing out in America's wind and solar capital, California, where the average electric bill is $261 a month.
The problem with intermittent renewables is that they're not on all the time.
Californians.
Okay. For the record, what people spend in a particular area, a state, anywhere around, when they're and they go, the rate here is amazing. it's enormous. The average, pay is this. The average amount of whatever the cost of energy. When you look at it that way, and you don't read into lifestyle usage, the charging of electric cars, those kind of things, you just kind of write it off as like that. That's just proof the California government is mean or something like that. Now we do have higher. They're including gas in there because we have higher gas taxes for environmental reasons in California than other states do. Californians have voted for those.
Pay 32
yes,
cents.
And averages. You're right. Averages are useless.
It's a kilowatt hour, almost twice the national average of 18 cents.
Electricity rates have skyrocketed throughout the state.
Leading the charge, Governor Gavin Newsom, mandating 90% clean electricity by 2035.
We see a fossil-free future.
But to pay for the new plants, batteries, and transmission lines, the state plans to bill customers not just for the power they use, but also based on their income.
This doesn't make sense.
This makes it cheaper to consume more electricity.
Households earning more than 70 grand could.
This makes it cheaper to consume more. What? First of all, the price is going up for everybody because the idea is that you're building a new system. And we were all taxed for the creation of the oil-based system that was there. It was all subsidized. The pretending it isn't is just garbage. But having an active choice to make this change, especially in California where everybody's like, where's our fucking high-speed rail and all that kind of stuff because they won't tax for it specifically, this is not surprising.
Could pay an extra $73 a month.
Could?
On top of their electric bill.
Could. Well, if they could, if it's based on a certain tier, what's stopping it?
So Democrats and Governor Newsom adopted this policy about 2 years ago. Now there's blowback within their own party, mostly from deep blue coastal areas, angry about the surcharge and fairness, but also because now every state ratepayer will have to annually turn over or disclose their tax returns just to pay their electric bill.
That's amazing. So what's the
No, they won't.
The timeline on this?
Well, the deadline is July 1st, but all these renegade Democrats who voted for it 2 years ago because of the pushback are trying to repeal the law this year.
All right.
Okay, because there's an issue with implementation, so they went back. Again, so Democrats are trying to solve this problem that they started in theory. Is that the idea? Does anybody else, as yeah buts go, that's extraordinary. They started it, and now they're trying to stop it, and they probably will, and that's that. And maybe, could be, possibly, may in the future, might. California Public Utilities Commission has until June 1st to impose the new rate structure. The states remain proposed a tiered rate plan. Household earning this kind of thing. Read on the there's a lot considering California's electricity. Okay, blah, blah, blah. There you go. Constituents have had enough, so have we. Thousand Oaks, Jackie Irwin. Time to put some reasoning back on how we charge for electricity in California. Time energy conservation voted for the bill last year, but changed their mind after constituents complained that middle-income residents who conserve energy may be paying more for neighbors who use more energy. There's also an issue of privacy and income verification. It's unclear who or which agency would be required to obtain taxpayers. Yeah, it's never going to, it wouldn't hold up in court. I mean, it'd be nearly impossible to implement. It would be nearly impossible to implement given the many legal and privacy challenges that there would be undoubtedly to be accurately determine every taxpayer in the state's income. The assumption is, well, if you're making $100,000 a state, you must be super wealthy. But what if you have 5 or 6 kids? Will they be treated the same as a single head of household? Why did they entertain this bureaucratic nightmare? Many critics have blamed Newsom and his strict strategy. Why? Because this wasn't his bill. Along with Democrats insisted lawmakers fast-track the bill with no discussion. Terry Prosper, a CPUC spokesman, told the local TV's implementation of the bill marked a critical step towards California climate goals because underscoring all of this, California's rush to embrace clean energy. This electricity will be clean energy. Kamala Harris says a year into the Carlsbad while dedicating a solar plant. Biden said it's also cheaper to generate electricity from wind and solar than it is from coal and oil. Literally cheaper. It is. But that's not proving true in California. That's because of turning the entire state over to it and converting. That's not the same thing. The production of it, and again, long term, the the only reason this wouldn't make sense to you is if you don't give a fuck about the future. That you're a gimme like Sean Hannity.
Meaning the more you make, the more you're going to pay for the same in the country out in California.
Yeah, give us your money. Give us your money. I mean, what's so wonderful about this California thing is it's not even tied to electricity use. It's just an income tax increase. And by the way, yes, the upper end pays more, but the stupid part of this, and this is where there's going to be revolt, you look at the numbers here.
Oh, by the way, apparently the revolt is from Democrats.
Here, Sean, the middle class is going to be charged significantly. I did the math here. The middle class right now.
You didn't do the math. It's in the article.
Pays about $3,200 a year for their electricity bills. That, by the way, is at the highest in the nation. This would add about $1,200, whether you consume more or less electricity. It's going to go on your bill. It's almost a 1/3 increase on the middle class. And yeah, up the income ladder, it pays more. It's not a carbon tax. It has nothing to do with reducing. In fact, energy use may go up under this thing in a certain case.
Yeah, that's just gibberish.
And the whole problem.
Yeah, because your poor neighbors are going to go, shit, I can leave the lights on and it's only going to cost me $25 extra a month and it's costing them $50. Like nobody's thinking.
California is they don't have enough electricity because renewables don't work. They're not sustainable. They break down. They're very expensive.
Yeah, oil tankers don't sink or spill. You never have a pipeline problem. There certainly isn't it. Look, I mean, you want to look at Texas.
They should use
nothing goes wrong.
Use oil, which they have a lot of. They should use natural gas. They could use coal. They could.
No, we're not going to use coal, dum-dum.
Use nuclear power, but they don't. So they don't.
Dude, we have a fault line through the whole fucking state. Talk to Idaho, motherfucker. Talk to all the states that don't have earthquakes. Have them build nuclear sites there and have them build transmission lines.
You can't plug in your car. If you have an EV, electric vehicle, you can't plug it in because there are always brownouts and blackouts.
No, you plug your car in and it actually, the home charging ports take at the lowest level. Like whenever the grid is the least taxed, usually in the middle of the fucking night.
Electricity. This thing is just a dumb middle class tax hike in California. That's all it is.
That's all it is. Fucking stupid. We're just trying to find a way to awkwardly shit on Gavin Newsom. I am. Sean, I need a drink.
And then when they tax corporations and then they sue corporations like the suing oil companies, who pays the bill for those expensive law firms that have to defend themselves? Wouldn't that be the consumer, Larry? You're the expert.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, but it's not local to California. Fuck are you talking about? And believe me, oil companies get sued all the fucking time for shit they do all over the world.
That stuff gets passed along all the time. And by the way, they're going to start losing stuff in the courts. I mean, they're not these mandates that California is making up. They have never been adjudicated. There are no congressional laws.
Yeah, there's no one has adjudicated the transition from a petroleum-based economy to a renewables-based economy at any time in human history. Nobody. This is not what the founding fathers had in mind, Sean. They didn't. Okay? They didn't know. They didn't fucking know. They didn't write some thing. This didn't happen in fucking. When we went from horses to gas, and some of the horses had gas. Sorry, Sean. nobody. This is untested, brand new technology that's been around since Jimmy Carter was president and has increased greatly over the last fucking couple of years. And there is no legal precedent for the environmental disaster caused by oil, except for Exxon Valdez and the lawsuits that against the people who were poisoned in Africa, and several different sites around Louisiana and also Texas, and cancer issues with coal sleuth and other stuff going through eastern Kentucky and into Tennessee. Other than that, nobody even fucking bothers with this. Hello? I know I didn't call an Uber, but I'm fucking glad it's here. Bye, Sean. Shit. And scene. Sorry.
The state legislature may or may not pass this thing. From what?
Jesus Christ. They may or may. Thanks for interrupting my evening. The state legislature may or may not pass this thing. Jesus. Go back to sleep, dum-dum. Fuck me. Is anybody else? All right. How am I good? How am I on time? I'm all right, I think. 1 second. I get back to chat. There you are. Oh, get chat. There you are. I'm a listen. Wind causes cancer and also stains in your drawers. And the one thing about wind is it's intermittent and unreliable. That's the challenge with it. You can't do. Hold on 1 second. Tell my Uber to wait outside. I've got to see a man about a mule. Oh, sorry. Stupid. Wait a minute. Did someone just call me an A-list actor, comedian, vocalist? Wes, please don't call me A-list. Apparently that's a slur, because to be in the A-list you have to eat babies, and I don't. That's why I've never made it to the A-list. Remember all those folks that call me a has-been or C-D-lister or whatever. I always think that is a compliment, because those very same people think that A-listers eat babies. So I don't know. Sounds like a compliment to me. If they call me an A-lister, then I'll start getting getting upset. I think that's my favorite part. Yeah, the adrenochromers. That's the A-list. You gotta. I'm not touching adrenochrome. I don't do drugs of any kind, especially the kind that come out of the spines of babies in farms under the White House that apparently were only there when Trump was president. So there. Now, apparently, hold on 1 second. Apparently, I don't know if this is true. You guys probably know this is probably is true. I don't even know why I even questioned it, because he's saying it. It must be true. This is more Sean Hannity. Apparently, the DNC is in panic mode. We're panicking. The Democrats are panicking. That was one of the big talking points today. Democrats are panicking. Freaking out. Dude, I'm freaking out. I'm in panic mode. I don't know what the fuck's going on. This is crazy.
And welcome to Hannity. And tonight, in just moments, we will bring you an explosive new report surrounding Hunter Biden, China, and nuclear energy.
Explosive.
Hunter
Biden partners aided Chinese bid to corner nuclear energy market with U.S. tech. Memos show. Not memos.
Solomon will join us with all these details. You're not going to get it from the media mob, but
you are the media mob. You're on Fox, dum-dum. Stop acting like you run a zine out of your garage.
First, do you ever wonder why Do you ever wonder why your president, Joe Biden, is not allowed to answer impromptu questions? A mystery.
Well, the SOTU seemed to work very well.
Many people.
Oh, wait. Oh, are you telling us, Sean, that Marge and those assholes were all plants? Jesus Christ, the deep state has power I wasn't even aware of.
People want to know. Take a look.
Am I allowed to take any questions? Anybody here on staff? I better not start the questions. I'll get in trouble. I'm sorry. This is the last question I'll take, and I'm really going to be in trouble.
He means he's always going somewhere. This is fucking lame. He jokes about his staff and everybody like, dude, we have to be somewhere. And that's how he thinks of it. Like, I'm going to be in trouble because we're going to be late to this thing and we got to get this done.
I'm sorry. I'm going to get in trouble with staff if I don't do this the right way. I'm going to get in trouble with my staff. Yeah, go ahead, but I pretend that you didn't answer you. You guys are bad. I'm not supposed to be answering all these questions. I'm supposed to leave. Thank you. And I'm happy to take questions if that's what I'm supposed to do, Nance, whatever you want me to do.
Yeah, it's all scheduling shit.
Wow, White House.
And he jokes about it, by the way. And then he takes a question. That's part of his thing is like, that's his whole I'm bucking the handlers of the White House storyline, which Trump did all the time as well. Everybody talks about it, about how they've got the staff around them, they've got a schedule and they're locked to it and stuff. And I got to stick to this because I'm being president. There's president shit going on here. And he's like, I'm going to be in trouble if I stick around and talk to you assholes because we got real phone calls. I got actual policy shit to do. I'm going to be out here yammering with you dickheads. And so that's basically what he ends up saying. He's done it a few times. Like that, but I'm supposed to panic. I'm sorry. I'm not. Damn it. I should be panicking.
Staffers, campaign officials, and the First Lady, they all try their best to keep Joey away from the press and anyone else.
And yet he still answers questions. That's the point. That's the gag.
With a question. Anyway, even the Easter Bunny, you might recall, once shielded Joe from answering questions on the White House lawn. Well, today in Michigan, more of the same. At one stop, the press pool.
Well, that was the joke, too. Can we just agree on one thing? That this clip so far seems to be about the fact that Sean Hannity is a humorless asshole with no friends. And by the way, who treats his staff and those around him like shit. And, by the way, back in the day, you'll recall, I was on Red Eye with when Gutfeld had that show on there, and it was sort of like the same, back in the day, like around Talk Soup and stuff, when I used to do Fox and Friends, too, because they were kind of at least playing it being normal. After 9/11, everybody there panicked and became really dark and fucked up. And so it got increasingly unfun and creepy there. But initially, they were trying to compete with everybody else on sort of a relative even ground with the right lean, but that was it. And one time I went to do Red Eye, and there was this woman, I guess she worked as one of the booker producer types around there, and she'd obviously been crying. And I was like, what's it? And like, and somebody was literally like Hannity was yelling at his fucking wife and kids on the fucking phone, and it was like really fucked up, and it upset her because she went into the room to kind of try and pull him away to do something or talk to him about something, and he was just like fucking evil, and it was shocking and upset her. Like that was what it was. Like he was screaming at his wife and kids so much that this woman was horrified, brought to tears by how he treated them.
They were confined to a tent that was 20 feet away. No one could really hear what the president was even saying. And of course, reporters, they were blocked from asking any questions. He might get in trouble. Take a look.
We're going to take a few questions. Thank you, press. Thank you, press. Thank you so much. Thank you, press. Let's head back to the cars. Thank you. Back to the cars. Thank you. Thank you, press. We're happy to walk you all. Vehicles are this way. Thank you.
Joe.
He asked to take some questions, and they're like, yeah, we're going to do that. And then everybody just bugged out.
You're the president of the United States. You're now running for re-election.
Yeah, you're 81 years old. You're on the porch of a building for some sort of gathering that you're going to talk about. There are steps right there that are soaking wet. It's raining outside. Why wouldn't you just barge ahead, walk out to the street, in God knows wherever the fuck you are, down wet stairs as the president, and start answering questions at random to whoever, to the Peter Duceys of the world?
But you have to ask your staff if you can take
it because of time, fuckwad. He's not asking permission. He's talking about timing. Does Sean actually, first of all, Sean clearly is a belligerent prick to everybody who works for him. But a good number of CEOs will talk about their primary staff that they work with that are crucial to what they do. And they're very, open about the fact that, you know, they're having their right-hand man or their assistant or whoever's there. And they speak more openly with those folks than anybody else, and they trust them to do their job, especially if you have to fucking be somewhere important, as opposed to, again, yammering at whoever the fuck is randomly gathered outside this particular event. But as anecdotal evidence goes, I have to say this is even lamer than I thought, because he asked to take questions and then they bugged out. He's like, "Do we have time to take questions?" Essentially, yeah, we'll take some questions, but that they may have been talking about shit later.
Question?
You notice we didn't get a lead into that. Let's look at this again. Hold on. Hold on 1 second. Let's go back to this piece of it. So they took pictures. It's in Saginaw.
Well, today in Michigan,
he's in Wisconsin at some house
or the same
meeting with union leaders or something like that.
They were confined to a tent that was 20 feet away.
There's reporters right there answering questions or something.
No one could really hear what the president was even saying, and of course,
right, because it wasn't a press gaggle. It was meant to just take pictures.
Of course, reporters, they were blocked from asking any questions. He might get in trouble. Take a look.
There's a camera right there. There's 3 reporters over here. They've clearly been doing something for the last little bit.
Look.
We're going to take a few questions. Thank you, press. Thank you, press. Thank you so much.
Reporter. We're going to take a few questions. They meant them, not the fucking photogs out here. There are reporters on the fucking stairs. They're running off the photographers or whoever the fuck else, like the extras or whoever's standing around out there. Did you see the recording devices and the fucking cameras? Dude, try fucking harder.
Back to the cars. Thank you.
This guy with cameras all over him. She's got a recording device. He's got a recording device. He's videotaping. This guy's videotaping.
Cars. Thank you. Thank you, press. We're happy to walk you all. Vehicles are this way. Thank you.
Joe, you're the president of the United States.
Sean, you look like a thumb.
You're not running for re-election, but you have to ask your staff if you can take a question.
No. If they have planned to do some questions and if they're taking the time to do it because you're campaigning and you're running for president. And the staff he's talking to is his campaign staff right there. She was wearing a Biden-Harris shirt. Did you see that, fuckwad?
Seriously?
She doesn't work in the White House. That's campaign staff. They're organizing these things outside of his presidential duties, and there's a firewall between that kind of activity. They have to be very distinct about it. There's, and it's a limited amount of time because you've got to do the job while getting hired to redo the job.
Now, unless the reporter's name, as we know, and picture and pre-planned topic is written on a giant note card ahead of time, he may not get his ice cream and everyone's going to be mad at him and everything. It's not acceptable.
Yeah, it is. It's called being organized. By the way, Sean, this is how you get an infrastructure bill passed. Do you understand? By getting the shit done, getting to your point, staying on your message, and getting your work done. This is how you get an infrastructure bill passed. Trump couldn't do it. Was it because he didn't have the votes? No. He just didn't give a fuck. He was busy golfing and making little side deals and talking to Jared about the billions they're going to make after they leave office. And he stood there, by the way, all during COVID, like an asshole, taking all kinds of dumb questions, saying, maybe you can get bleach into your lungs or disinfectant and get a good scrubbing of the lungs and maybe get a powerful light that destroys the virus inside the body. And I heard you're going to look into that. That not only was that stupid and insane, but it was a waste of fucking time.
Many in the press corps just don't really seem to care or even bother to ask why. I guess it's par for the course with Joe. Now, the answer's obvious. Joe's a cognitive wreck. Everybody knows it. So he's clearly not capable of performing the duties of his job.
Yeah, clearly. I mean, any dumbass could get his priorities passed and trick the Republicans, dog walk them into a fucking rake during the SOTU. Look how many times Trump did. Oh.
He's obviously not jacked up Joe like he was at the State of the Union, screaming his speech to an entire country. And every day when he's not jacked up Joe, he gets worse and worse. It's no secret that his vice president, by the way, could be called into action at any moment.
Jesus Christ. Try harder.
And that would be a huge problem because
she's a woman and she's got brown skin. Can you imagine what that would do to America? Remember what happened when we had a half-black dude in there? Are you crazy?
Almost nobody actually likes or trusts the vice president. Now, she has even worse poll numbers than Joe. That's even possible. In fact, according to one NBC News survey, Vice President...
Not what? According to one? You were able to find one?
Harris has the worst approval rating of any vice president ever. She has 0 accomplishments in office, and
unlike Cheney,
her role as border czar, not exactly gone well, to put it lightly. But
that was. I'm gonna guess that poll was taken before the Republicans killed the border bill.
Today, she did visit a high school softball team for some very awkward small talk. Take a look.
I'm so proud of you guys, and I just wanted to come by to say hello. You guys are the reason I do what I do. And I just love your competitive spirit. I love how you guys are just working at it. You are ready to be a team and you're ready to compete. And that makes me so proud. So proud. How you guys doing?
Yes.
Yeah, that was horrifying. That was an adult woman talking to a group of teenagers on a sports team. There's just no recovering from that, clearly. Now, granted, you have to forgive Sean, because everybody he knows that talks to teenage girls is in danger of being subpoenaed about what he said.
We can. Anyway, while in Minnesota, Kamala Harris also stopped by an abortion clinic to celebrate the right to choose.
Now, freedom.
Now, there once was a president named Bill Clinton. Remember him? He once said about abortion, it should be safe and legal. He should
safe, rare, and legal.
Have added rare. Whatever happened to that Democratic Party? Now, by the way, now Democrats want abortion to be limitless and honored without any restrictions in the 9th month of pregnancy. And then in the case of
it's a Jonathan Turley opinion piece. Fuck off.
Remember Governor Northam from Virginia, first we'll deliver the baby, make the baby comfortable, and then the mother and doctor will talk about whether the baby lives. That's the exception for sure. But
fuck you. That's the exception for sure. Motherfucker, they're talking about a non-viable fetus that's gonna die. The question is, make the baby comfortable means give it a bunch of fucking morphine because it's in the process of dying in front of her, you cruel fuck.
But a lot of Democrats, when you ask them, what restrictions at all would you put on abortion, they won't answer that question. Here's an example. California Governor Gavin Newsom, our buddy. Do you support any restrictions at all on abortion, especially in months 7, 8, and 9, past viability?
I'm going to answer that question, but let's talk about the issue of abortion. Let's talk about the issue of abortion.
You're going to answer it?
I'm going to answer that question. Okay. I'll repeat that. I trust, and answer your question, I trust the mother and her doctor to make that decision.
So in other words, I want to be clear on this. If a woman and her doctor, for any reason,
for any reason, a woman and her doctor, for any reason, like they're fucking and she doesn't like her husband and she's decided to have an affair and he doesn't like pregnant chicks.
Not for any reason.
No.
It's
I'm asking.
extremely rare.
Should there
this
be?
Is a canard. I know where you guys are going, Sean. You're even uncomfortable with this whole issue. And I understand it. This is where you guys have to go to cover for the extreme anti-abortion agenda of Ron DeSantis.
Should there be?
Who's hurt your party.
Would you support a ban on abortion in 7th, 8th, or 9th month if the mother's life is not in jeopardy?
Extreme exception. People aren't going on and having abortions.
Should it be?
By the way, this is something they want codified into law as more of like a women are gross, women are disgusting, women are immoral, and women can't be trusted part of a bill. And they don't recognize that adding that 7th, 8th, and 9th month part of it, the limitations put on states will probably be, used to be first trimester, with some exceptions in the case of the pregnancy is like becoming ectopic, or there's another issue where there's a deformity that's attaching to the woman and they have to do it after that window, which again is covered in the life of the mother. Most of those, that's how it's done. No one is excising and doing an optional abortion at viability. Most of the rules about viability apply because of a human life. That's why the law about like harming a pregnant woman starts essentially there with viability.
Illegal.
Unless something devastating has happened,
should it be illegal?
It should be up to the mother and her doctor and her conscience. And it
So the answer is no restriction.
I've already answered it.
No restrictions. There is no moderation in this radical left-wing Democratic Party. Not on abortion, not on spending, not on tax.
This is the DNC in panic mode, he says.
Not on
extreme policies.
Illegal immigration, where it's really a bad thing to even say the word illegal. And by the way, not on COVID. We know that, God forbid.
No, it's not a problem to say illegal. Acts are illegal, people aren't. And the idea that, and again, I think this is a red herring. Most of this is a distraction. The fight over calling somebody an illegal immigrant versus an undocumented person or whatever. If you're here and you never get documented because the path you're on isn't to get documented, then you'd qualify as an illegal, and that would be a smaller group. It's the same distinction that Trump, tries to make everybody MAGA, and Biden saying not everybody in the Republican Party is MAGA. That the MAGA group would be the illegals in this analogy. So it's a little absurd. That said, the act can be illegal, the person isn't in that regard, right? Even a serial killer isn't an illegal human in that regard. It's just silly.
If you held a different view on the emergency authorization vaccine that's not been properly studied scientifically.
Yeah, thanks to Operation Fart Steed, you dumb fuck. Sorry, 1 second. I have to move this over. Logs. It didn't play smoothly. It's got to wake up.
Captain's logs.
There you go.
Follow the science. This is a party with radical and extreme positions on pretty much everything. So for many on the left, center left even, the Democratic Party has totally abandoned them. They're now looking for new options come the fall, and I guess they will have other choices. Looks like Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
is stealing more votes from Trump.
Naturally, the DNC is in panic mode over this.
No, they're not. I got to be honest. Most of them have looked at the numbers and they know that he takes more votes from Trump than he ever would from Biden. And the people who would even think about voting for RFK Jr. were never going to vote for Biden in the first fucking place. And he's a great stark contrast on our side.
Is he going to bring back Jesse the Body Ventura? How great would that be?
Well, I mean, perhaps some of us might hope that becomes a thing. I'm glad you brought it up, goddammit. But I got to tell you, I'm not running with RFK Jr. You can't get involved with a guy that's from a cursed family and hang out at the airport bar at the Denver airport, goddammit. It's a mistake. I ain't got time to bleed or run for office with RFK Jr. Come on.
Anyway, don't expect them to moderate any of their policies. Now, instead, Biden's 2024 campaign will continue to focus on 4 issues. They will demagogue abortion. They will obsess over
demagogue abortion. Wasn't that what you were doing? You were literally just demagoguing abortion. Don't you mean demagoguing anti-abortion activists or some shit? Well, you can't say that because some of these motherfuckers kill people.
January 6th and democracy in peril. The same people that would allow one elected official to decide, I'm going to take that person's name off the ballot because I'm going to declare them guilty of insurrection, even though they haven't been charged or let alone convicted.
The states have the right to do that. It's in the Constitution. Your problem was with the Founding Fathers.
And they'll keep key evidence out of January 6th. You know, like the fact that we now know, and we played it last night, Trump offered the National Guard
he offered them, what, 10,000 troops?
In the days leading up to January 6th. Why didn't Liz Cheney and the January 6th committee?
Because he was picking the National Guard people from states that had tried to overturn the election. He was going to use them as shock troops, you dumb motherfucker.
Which, with a predetermined outcome.
Why are you flying them in from Texas and Florida? Why are you bringing them in from Missouri? Why wouldn't you just use the fucking, I don't know, the Delaware National Guard? They're nearby. How about Maryland? What about Virginia?
Why didn't they let us know that? Or exculpatory?
Let you know what? Again, why would you need them? Why, literally, why the fuck would Nancy Pelosi at that point, remember, this is now hindsight's 2020, but pre-January 6th, I guarantee there were a bunch of questions like, that motherfucker's not going to fucking send them up here to attack us. Like, that's fucking unbelievable. That's crazy.
Testimony that
yeah, he also wanted them, important point, Carol Jean in our chat, he also said they couldn't be armed, they couldn't carry any pepper spray, they couldn't even have shields or be dressed in riot gear. So what, they just be overrun and then handed rifles by Michigan militia types?
Donald Trump.
Samuel says 34 trillion in debt, no money for Israel or Ukraine. That's absurd and silly. Our debt is nowhere near at crisis point compared to our GDP, and we can absolutely afford it. What we can't afford is to let Vladimir Putin get a toehold on the rest of Europe and kill a bunch of people and rape and murder them just because we're worried about adding a 0.00005% to our military budget for 1 year.
Never tried to commandeer the presidential motorcade. We learned that from the driver of the presidential motorcade that they knew about, that they interviewed, that they didn't tell us about.
Also, he berated them to do it. He just didn't attack them. He didn't lurch for the wheel is what they said. By the way, in that interview, they did not say, did he grab you or the other driver, insofar as what I saw, or at least what they've been talking about. They didn't remember the story wasn't that he lurched for the wheel at first. The story was he grabbed one of them by the shirt collar, and he's like, I would grab one of these guys, blah blah blah, and he goes, and you can't even get up there because it's I'm in the in the Beast. He wasn't in the Beast. He was in one of the SUVs, and he was absolutely within like grabbing distance. But what they said is he never lurched for the wheel. That wasn't the primary charge. It was that he grabbed one of these guys and basically threatened him, grabbed him by the collar and said, I'm the fucking president. You're going to take me there. And they went, no, we're not. Get your hands off me, you orange asshole.
The left flat out lied. They spread fear, hysteria, all things hate Trump 24/7. And, of course, Democrats will call Republicans racist, sexist, xenophobic, homophobic, Islamophobic, transphobic, that want dirty air and water. In other words,
well, yeah, I don't see any pushback from you about the validity of those claims, though.
Democrats are using fear and division to mask what has been a terrible 4 years.
Are you fucking kidding me? What do you think? Trump is trying to speak nicely about his political opponents and Biden voters? And here comes mean old Biden fucking it up?
Under Biden, I repeat, they cannot run on are you better off than you are.
Yeah, they can.
4 years ago.
Oh, you can't say 4 years, you dumb motherfucker. Okay, hold on. Let's see. Let me get a piece of... Okay. Let's see. March 15, 2020. What happened on this day? Historical events. European countries impose restrictions in gatherings and borders as COVID-19 death rates rise dramatically. Italy, 1,809. Spain, 288. France, 120. U.S. Federal Reserve slashes interest rates to near zero to support the economy during the COVID-19 pandemic. I mean, I got you the best interest rates you could ever possibly have. Let's see. Headlines from the New York Times. There you go. Shutdown spread across Europe as Spain and France order border restrictions. On Saturday night in Florida, President Party became a coronavirus hot zone. Conservative agenda unleashed on the federal courts. He has, 17,700 bottles of hand sanitizer and nowhere to sell them. That didn't last long. The company's putting profits ahead of public health. 2 women fell sick from coronavirus. 1 survived. Italians find a moment of joy in this moment of anxiety. He took a bullet to save his son in Christchurch. Can he ever heal? The coronavirus swamps local health departments already crippled by cuts inside the most secret place in Guantanamo Bay. Could 2020 election be postponed? Only with great difficulty. Here's why. For Biden and Sanders, the fight's not personal. Trump is tested for coronavirus. Experts ask what took so long. Trump supporters nowhere to turn in a crisis. To him. Trump says he could demote Fed Chair Powell, risking more market turmoil. Chinese tycoon who criticized Xi's response to coronavirus has vanished. Your money in coronavirus, you asked experts, answered. Oh boy. Trump oversold a Google site to fight coronavirus. Internet providers won't cut off users over unpaid bills for 60 days. Apple closes most of its stores for 2 weeks. If in coronavirus outbreak, the high five is left hanging. Does coronavirus mean the end of sports as we know them? Shit, remember when we were talking about nobody's ever going to fucking shake hands ever again? The financial blow of the coronavirus on sports. Stephen Sondheim, the man who fell too much. This is Arts, New York. Coronavirus in New York. Will a surge in patients overwhelm hospitals? Oh, I don't know. We'll see. A surge in biking to avoid crowded trains. By the way, expect, because of Delta and other variants, expect August to be a weird month for them to do the, are you better off? As China cracks down on coronavirus coverage, journalists fight back. Fox Business benches Trish Regan after outcry over coronavirus comments. Really? They didn't believe in free speech? They kicked her to the curb? There are too many celebrities here dealing with them as a society? Whatever. How Billy Ellis wrote Teenage Weirdness. Young, confident, and flying. Virus be damned. 12 days, the most storied highways of them all. The Silk Road. All right. Outfitting them. Milk situation. The milk, like Harvey Milk? I don't know. We found our groove is splitting up. Genesis plagued by the president, Maureen O'Dowd. We need social solidarity, not just social distancing. The Christian response to coronavirus, stay home. That's because they were still trying to get people in churches. Yeah, 4 years ago was fucking sweet. We were looking towards the future and going, it's just going to keep getting better.
This is all they have left. They don't really care about democracy or freedom.
That's why they passed an infrastructure bill and a rescue plan, and that's why they opened up voting and early voting to everybody, so that everybody who has the right to vote can vote.
Or your rights as an American. No.
That's why Joe Biden came out and said that Orban, as the leader of Hungary, was a very good leader and a powerful guy. And what kind of a commie, anti-gun asshole would support the kind of gun laws they have in Hungary? Because obviously Biden was using it as an example of what we should be doing over here. A strong leader that will, get rid of the guns, just like Orban has. That's, oh, wait, that wasn't who? Oh.
They prefer one-party rule where Republicans...
Every party thinks they should be in charge, dum-dum.
Republicans are completely powerless.
Well, actually, it sounds like Trump actually wants that from his actions. He put Laura Trump in charge of the finances of the RNC. You're going to talk about somebody who wants to destroy the Republican Party and leave it only for the Democrats. That's him.
And then, if they want to, punish them and use the Justice Department to go after them. This is the party of censorship and cancel culture.
Really? Because all the censorship stuff the lawsuits that are coming out happened under Trump. And cancel culture? You think we're the ones that are kicking people to the curb for what they say? We're the ones with a purity test?
high taxation, record inflation.
Well, that was because the country opened up after the worst pandemic we've seen since the Spanish flu.
Woke everything.
Yeah, I mean, just say that. Woke everything, sure.
And regulations galore. The party that defends...
Regulations galore. You and your fucking... You don't want lead in the water? How are we going to be tough people? I mean, lead is what made the people of the plains strong and crazy.
And supporters, riots, and crime, they ignore that. And lawlessness. They support open borders, sanctuary cities and states. This is the party that weaponized our Department of Justice.
Is this a... Again, if the DNC is in panic mode, why would you make the argument that Biden is... Wouldn't you be running from your policies instead of doubling down on them if you're in panic mode? Right?
Justice and politicized it. The party that wants to abolish the U.S. Supreme Court as we know it.
By adding judges because the population has grown.
And any other.
And we got more circuits than we've got Supreme Court justices.
Institution that dares get in their way or their agenda. So don't be fooled by the political smear tactics of the left in the next 235 days. However, you deserve better.
Hey. Do you? Oh, that's fine. Hold on a second. Hold on. I'm scrolling back to catch up on something in the chat. Yeah. Cool. All right, here we go. Back to the chat. Hi, everybody. Like, you deserve better. Like, well, then quit and give your microphone to somebody else, asshole. And we're over. Yeah, we're well over time. Thank you guys so much. I got radio tomorrow. I'm going to go feed my kid. So love you guys. Thank you guys for the support and for hanging around. Be nice. Take care of yourself and take care of somebody else. And I'll see you on the radio show. Phil will be joining us for the second hour tomorrow. I don't know if we have a. Sorry, Biden's going to be sorry if he doesn't do something about the Supreme Court before the next election. Not gonna do shit. Supreme Court's not going to have a factor in this. I'm sorry, it's not going to. Yeah, seriously, the people on the Supreme Court want more of a legacy than they want Trump in power. Yep. Yeah, and again with Sean Hannity, he's just trying to like air tag all these talking points to try and hope like it gins him up, or he's finding that, and this might be a good sign. The way he's talking about it, it sounds like somebody who talks about he's losing his audience and they're not buying it anymore. So he's got to like, but they did this and this and this and this and this and this and this. It's that part of the argument where they're just like listing 20 things to go, oh yeah, you're right, they do suck. Meanwhile, we'll be over here having a good time, smiling, joking around, telling some stories, and cluing people into the real story that's behind the scenes and showing everybody the third and fifth paragraph in a story to realize that there's a big yeah but in a lot of this stuff. And remember, if you're ever confronted with a choice that you believe is the lesser of two evils, choose less evil. See you later.
wrong.